needs to
Moving
improve.
ahead, moving ahead, I would now take the privilege to welcome and introduce our dignitaries for today. For this prestigious occasion, we are honored to have with us Colonel Dr. Professor A.M. Paturkar, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Maharashtra Animal and Fisheries Sciences University, Nagpur, to preside over today's function. The chief guest of this event, Dr. R.C. Agrawal, National Director, NHEP and DDG Education, ICR, New Delhi. The guest of honor, Dr. A.T. Sherikar, sir, Founder, Vice Chancellor of MAFTU, Nagpur. We are also blessed with the presence of Dr. M.L. Madan, former Vice Chancellor of Punjab Rao Deshmukh Krishi Vidyapeeth, Akola, and Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Pashu Chikitsa Evam Gosandhan Anusandhan Maharashtra, Mathura, sorry. He has served as the Director Research at NDRI Karnal and Deputy Director General Animal Science in the ICAR, New Delhi. We are also blessed to have Professor Akhilesh Chandra Varshney, former Vice Chancellor of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Pashu Chikitsa Evam Go Anusandhan Sansthan, Mathura. Presently, he is the chairman of Ayurved Research Foundation. We are privileged to have here Dr. Ashok Kumar, sir, ADG Animal Health, ICAR, New Delhi, as a special guest for this celebration. We also have Dr. Prabhat Kumar, National Coordinator, NHEP CAST, ICAR, New Delhi, and Dr. B.P. Mishra, Joint Director Research and Project Coordinator, Outreach Program on Zoonotic Diseases, ICR, IVRI, Izzat Nagar, as the guest of honor for this occasion. I also take this opportunity to welcome the patron of this function, Dr. A.P. Somkuar, DI and Dean, Faculty of Veterinary and Fishery Sciences, MAFTU. Our advisors, Dr. N.V. Kurkure, Director of Research, MAFTU, and Dr. A.S. Ranade, Associate Dean, Mumbai Veterinary College. Good morning, one and all. I now request Dr. A.S. Ranade, Associate Dean, Mumbai Veterinary College, to deliver his welcome address.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, and greetings on behalf of World Zoonoses Day. It's really a proud moment for me to welcome all the dignitaries who have joined today for this particular webinar. A very warm welcome to this international webinar under ICAR, National Agricultural Higher Education Project Center for Advanced Agricultural Science and Technology, CAAST, Center of Excellence for Advanced Research on Animal Food Safety and Outreach Program on Zoonotic Diseases. The importance of zoonosis, if not clear earlier, is very obvious nowadays in this present scenario of COVID-19 pandemic throughout the globe. And we believe that science, technology, and innovation are indispensable for our response to the recovery from this particular crisis. I am pleased to welcome chief patrons of today's webinar. And to begin with, our Honorable Vice Chancellor of MAFSU, Colonel Dr. Professor A.M. Paturkar, then Dr. R.C. Agrawal, National Director, NAHEP and DDG Education, ICR, New Delhi. It is indeed a delightful moment to welcome the patrons for today's webinar. Dr. Ashok Kumar, ADG Animal Health, ICR, New Delhi. Dr. A.T. Sherikar, Founder Vice Chancellor, MAFSU, Nagpur. Dr. A.P. Somkuar, Dean and DI, Veterinary Science, MAFSU, Nagpur. Heartfelt salutations to the today's advisors, Dr. N.V. Kurkure, Director of Research, MAFSU, Nagpur. Dr. Prabhat Kumar, NHEP, New Delhi. And Dr. B.P. Mishra, Joint Director Research and Project Coordinator, IVRI, ICR. I am very pleased to welcome Dr. Akhilesh Chandra Varshney, former Vice Chancellor, Deen Dayal Upadhyay University of Veterinary Science, Mathura, UP, and Chairman, Dabur Ayurved Research Foundation, Mathura, UP. Also delighted to really welcome Dr. M.L. Madan, ex-DDG, Animal Science, ICR, and former Vice Chancellor of two universities, Deen Dayal Upadhyay University of Veterinary Science, Mathura, UP, as well as the ex-Vice Chancellor of Punjab Rao Deshmukh Agricultural University, Akola, from Maharashtra. I'm really proud to acknowledge today's esteemed speakers, Dr. Hong Ui, Professor, Laboratory of Parasitology, School of Veterinary Medicine, Azhabu University from Japan, Dr. J.P.S. Gill, Director of Research, Gadwasu, Ludhiana, Punjab, Dr. D.D. Kulkarni, ex-director, National Institute of High Security Animal Disease Laboratory, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, who will be enlightening us shortly. With warm greetings to all these stalwarts who have joined and the distinguished participants, I can see quite a good number of known names over here, ladies and gentlemen. In this era, we are required to conduct this virtual conference, and I can really see a lot of dignitaries present for this particular meeting, as well as the familiar names of participants. And I'm sure they all are here to understand the new technologies and to get some insights about new innovations and carry on the work which they are doing. A warm welcome to all of you. There's an important agenda, but it's a vast agenda, and the time available with us is pretty short. Your inputs and questions will be much more important and appreciated. And I believe that by participating in this particular webinar, we are in the right place at right time. Together, let us accelerate the exchange of ideas and scaling up of good practices. I am confident that you will find new ideas, fresh energy, and novel partnerships to sustain your efforts. And I wish you all a very successful webinar. I now hand over the program to the convener of today's webinar, Dr. R.J. Chende, and let us commence building the foundation of healthy society from today, the World Zoonosis Day, the 6th of July 2020. Thank you very much and welcome again.
I now request Dr. R.J. Jende, Principal Investigator of NAHEP CAST project, to describe the importance of World Zoonosis Day.
So, good morning, everyone. All the respected dignitaries, Colonel Dr. Professor A. Padrukar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of MAPSU, Dr. R.C. Agarwal sir, Director, National Director, NHP and DDG Education, ICR New Delhi, Dr. A.D. Sherikar sir, Founder Vice Chancellor MAPSU, and Dr. Ashok Kumar sir, ADG Animal Health, ICR New Delhi, Dr. Prabhat Kumar, National Coordinator, NHP CAST, ICR New Delhi, Dr. BP Mishra sir, Joint Director, IBRI Nagar, and Project Coordinator, OP Chetty, Dr. NV Kurkure sir, Director of Research, Dr. AP Somkor sir, Director of Inspection and Dean, Veterinary and Fisheries, Dr. P.T. Jadhav, Director of Extension and Dean, Dr. P.G. Vasnik sir, Dean, Faculty of Dairy Technology, all the eminent speakers, Dr. Hong Kin Oi, Professor, Laboratory of Parasitology, Asabu University, Japan, Dr. J.S. Bedi, Associate Professor, Department VPH, Gadwasu, Ludhiana, Punjab, and Dr. D.D. Kulkarni, ex-Director, NIH SADL, Bhopal. Today, we are also blessed with the presence of the two eminent stalwarts of the veterinary profession, Dr. A.C. Vaishnav sir, former Vice Chancellor, Deen Dayal Upadhyay University of Veterinary Science, Mathura, UP, and the Chairman of the Ayurveda Research Foundation, Mathura. And second one is Dr. M.L. Madan sir, ex-DDG Animal Science, ICR, former Vice Chancellor, Deen Dayal Upadhyay University of Veterinary Science, Mathura, and ex-Vice Chancellor, PDKV Akola, Maharashtra. All other participants, students, and my friends. Today we are virtually gathered here to celebrate the World Zoonosis Day, which is observed every year on the 6th July to commemorate the scientific achievements of the Louis Pasteur, who has successfully administered the first vaccine against the rabies virus, which is a dreaded zoonotic disease, on July 6, 1885. That is exactly about 135 years ago today. And also to raise awareness amongst all people across the globe about the risk of these zoonotic diseases. Louis Pasteur was a French biologist, microbiologist, and a chemist renowned for his discoveries of principles of vaccination, microbial fermentation, pasteurization. He is remembered for his remarkable breakthrough in the causes and prevention of the various zoonotic diseases, and his discoveries have saved many lives ever since. He reduced mortality from the various diseases of the zoonotic nature and created the first vaccine against the rabies and anthrax. So do you know about 75% of new and emerging diseases originates from the animals, and more than 60% of the known infectious diseases in people such as rabies virus, ringworm, salmonella, etc., they are mainly transmitted from the animals to the human being. According to the World Health Organization, an estimated about 600 million people fell ill after eating the contaminated food each year, and resulting into the 4,20,000 deaths and the loss of the 33 million healthy life years per year. So zoonotic diseases are not only the problem in India, but also throughout the world. You can see now we are experiencing the pandemic COVID-19, and it is estimated that out of 1,407 human pathogens, 816 were zoonotic in nature. So that is, they are capable of transmitting from the animal to human and human to animal. These includes mainly the 538 bacteria and rickettsia, 317 fungi, 208 viruses, 287 helminths, and 57 protozoan origin infections. These are the factors which are mainly stresses the importance of the veterinary profession's involvement in addressing the various zoonotic diseases at local level and also the national and international level. Therefore, the participation of the veterinarians in the One Health initiative, that is the One Health commissions, which encourages the collaborative effort of the multiple disciplines at the local level, national and the global level to achieve the optimal health of the people and animals and environment. And that's why we have to, the veterinaries, we have to involve in controlling or the combating the zoonotic diseases in animal, and also we have to see the maintenance of or the prevalence of the disease into the environment. So the veterinarians plays a very important role in controlling this. Okay, so let us not waste more time because we have to hear the most eminent speakers are there today in our international webinar. So I stop here, and thank you so much for and welcome all the dignitaries and participants for this international webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I now take the privilege to request our guest of honor, Dr. A.T. Sherikar, Founder, Vice Chancellor, Maksu Nagpur, to enlighten us and share his experience in the field of zoonosis.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nice to see you, Sherikar.
Honorable Dr. Madan, Dr. Agarwal, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Paturkar, and my friends. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be with you on this August morning of this August function. I was really delighted to learn that the MAPSU is organizing or celebrating the World Zoonotic Day on this 6th July 2020. It is really good news for me when Dr. Jende contacted me to participate in this noble function or good function. I was really happy. Friends, Dr. Jende has already elaborated about the importance of the zoonosis and the number of zoonotic diseases the world is facing today, and the role of a veterinarian in this the combating these diseases. So I need not again emphasize upon the importance of the zoonosis. As you are aware that there are many diseases, as Dr. Jende has enlisted around more than 800 diseases which are communicated from animals to man, and also vice versa. In fact, there are more, according to my knowledge. So these diseases, they have actually today, they have posed a great challenge to the world. And we have been already facing a good number of infections which are communicated between these vertebrates throughout the world. Amongst them, the diseases, the deadly diseases like rabies, the tuberculosis, like many. And presently, our biggest challenge, it has become, our challenge is due to a corona group of the viruses. And this is actually a good time to celebrate. Actually, it has got a special importance because of this corona, COVID-19, for these celebrations and creating awareness amongst the people, the veterinarians, and all those related to this are involved in this prevention and disease control. Disease control, particularly zoonotic diseases, and of course COVID-19. These, as you are aware that these all zoonotic diseases, they cost, the world in terms of human lives, in terms of financial losses, which are at this point of time, as I told you, the world is going through, is the diseases caused by this COVID-19. Therefore, creating awareness about the zoonotic diseases is of utmost importance. Now, it is essential for all the professionals like medical, veterinary, and environmental scientists and others work together to combat the diseases. On this occasion, I can just bring to your notice, as you are all veterinarians mostly, and agriculture scientists, we are working under, ICR particularly, all the veterinary institutions can contribute a lot where the independent disciplines, having sub-branches, various subjects like microbiology, virology, bacteriology, pathology, microbiology, mycology, veterinary public health, pharmacology, toxicology, laboratories are well developed in all our veterinary institutions and veterinary colleges under the veterinary universities. So we have all the facilities, including the animal house facility, and we can certainly contribute a lot. And we have independent all these laboratories. Apart from this, we have good parasitology departments, pathology departments, biotechnology laboratories, and we have been teaching all these subjects to primarily to undergraduate students. Of course, there is specializations also exist in almost all the universities. So what is important is that what we can participate in fact, we can initiate that we can bring all these people who are working in similar field, like medicals, the environmental scientists, the biotechnologists, the pure microbiologists, and veterinarians together. See, these efforts are being going on. See, and our agriculture scientists, particularly veterinarians and medicals, particularly veterinarians are trying since long to bring these all branches together. Way back in 1976, Dr. Madan Bibi knowing probably the first report of this agriculture, what we call as National Commission on Agriculture, it came out in 1976. And that time they had emphasized the importance of the zoonoses. They have separately, they have written a chapter in that, in 12th, I think, 12th chapter of that report, they say that zoonosis, and zoonosis is such an important field where medical and veterinarians can come together, and unless and until these two branches come together, we have no solutions easily we can come out. And therefore, these two sister departments or disciplines cannot work in watertight compartments. So all those who are connected with this animal and humans diseases, they must come together under one umbrella and work together to combat the disease. Fortunately, the efforts have come to now, I suppose, that the dream has come to the truth. Our dream has come to true, and these two branches, along with environmental scientists, they have decided to work under one umbrella, that is One Health program, One Health approach. It is a good sign. So, what I suggest, I'm not going to take much of the time because zoonoses and all these diseases and all, everyone knows. So this I wanted to add particularly on this occasion, and that unless and until, although other challenges are there, whatever the challenges, maybe globalization, where the people come cross the cross boundary lines, then weak surveillance programs and reporting system and limited capacity for laboratory diagnosis of emerging zoonotic disease and all these problems can be solved if we come together and work together. With these few words, I as just my suggestions, I congratulate MAPSU, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Paturkar, the Deans, Directors, and Dr. Jende, Dr. Ajit Ranade for organizing this event and for inviting me to participate in discussion. I thank all of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir has very rightly pointed out the cumulative role of veterinarians, human medicos, and other health personnel and other scientists in combating the zoonotic diseases and related global challenges throughout the world. I now feel honored to invite today's special guest, Dr. Ashok Kumar, ADG Animal Health, ICAR New Delhi, to address the gathering.
Dr. Jende, I unmute him.
Sir, you need to unmute yourself. Ashok Kumar, sir, you need to unmute yourself. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
A very good morning to all on this occasion of World Zoonosis Day. The Honorable Professor Dr. A.T. Sherikar sir, Professor M.L. Madanji, Professor A.C. Vasneji, my colleague and the Vice Chancellor of MAPSU, present Vice Chancellor of MAPSU, Colonel Professor A.M. Paturkar Sahab, Dr. Hong Kong Ui, Dr. Som Kawarji, Dr. Kulkarni ji, Dr. Kurkure, my colleague at IVRI, Dr. BP Mishra, my colleague at headquarters, Dr. Prabhat Kumar, Dr. Ranade ji, Dr. Kiran Bilegaonkar, Dr. Jande, Dr. Vaidya, Dr. Bedi, the co-convener of this program. First of all, I congratulate the MAPSU team under the leadership of Paturkar Saab that he could arrange to interact so many dignitaries, many former, not only former Vice Chancellor, but the highly placed professionals like Professor Sherikar, Professor Madan, Professor Vasneji, other colleagues of mine, the students from India and Japan. I am thankful to organizers that they have given me a chance to join the program and to interact with you all on this very auspicious and important occasion, where actually zoonosis for us, the public health veterinarians, it is not for a day or two, but to remind the world. This day is celebrated. It is being celebrated today also in different ways. Somewhere it is being many webinars are being conducted by different universities for the awareness, not only in professionals, but also in the population. Not only that, I came to know that the largest One Health poultry hub, where they have 150 partners from world over, and they are going to have a 2-minute silence during the midday times, just to remember the people, around more than 10 million people who have been confirmed from the cases of COVID-19, and more than 5 lakh deaths. So you can imagine the situation. So just in memory of those who could succumb to COVID, they are going to keep 2 minutes silence today on the occasion of Zoonoses Day. This is one way. Another way we are doing it, we are interacting with each other, and we are reminding the people that the zoonotic diseases are more common than one thing. Epidemics and pandemics have shaped our history and still continue to threaten us. The diseases of most concern are those that may have international implications, like present epidemic, either as present pandemic, either as a global epidemic or pandemic, or because they pose a risk for travelers with high case fatality rates or have trade implications. And we all know that most of these diseases tend to be emerging diseases. Whether it had been earlier this avian influenza, monkeypox, then SARS, Ebola, lot many, and present pandemic, everyone of knows. Dr. Jande has already elaborated that around 75% of emerging disease are zoonotic disease. Particularly amongst the emerging disease, viral disease are most common. And this is going to be again a challenge, as we understand as a professionals that more than 99% of viruses remain to be discovered, and there is huge potential for future zoonotic emergence. So we have to get prepared ourselves for the same to face the challenge. We all understand the impact of zoonotic disease. It affects human health, death, disability, animal health, economic losses due to livestock culling, deaths, and decreased production, cost of control programs. There remains trade implications, indirect effects on people due to psychological trauma, as we are facing nowadays, and the impact on cultural, socio-cultural traditions. There are many driving forces of global epidemics or pandemics, particularly accelerated global trading patterns, technical sophistication in food processing, exposure to new pathogens through ecosystem disruption, population pressure, evolutionary pressures through overpopulation and change in tropism, speed of transportation, which we could observe in case of COVID. In spite of all the restrictions, we had remained unable to control the pace of the disease, though we could have slowed down it. And all these unique combination of factors that we truly do not understand. These may also be playing the role. For example, land use change and pattern, increased contact between humans, livestock, and wildlife, health risk to human, livestock, and wildlife, and enhanced flow and change in the pathogens. This challenge will remain continue, as I was telling. So we have to go with intersectoral collaboration and intersectoral approach with animal surveillance, human surveillance, and we have to create a bridge with joint assessment. Particularly, we have to emphasize on exchanging the data and findings. We need to understand and to conduct the risk assessment and communication, risk management, and we have to follow the philosophy of one world, one health concept into action, so that we can manage zoonosis locally, regionally, and globally. We need to shift our focus from economy to ecology. In view of that, this actually ICR took the initiative in 2009, and we started a program on outreach program on zoonotic disease. Earlier we were having the 13 units. Now we have grown up to 19 units. This year we felt at ICR level that when we talk only zoonosis, it may not cover the risk assessment and other factors. So we are changing this program to One Health. So in next SFC, we are going to propose a network program on One Health, encompassing all the aspects of One Health. I would also like to touch little bit upon that as this COVID-19 has changed the scenario. We all are talking on computer, otherwise we could visit Mumbai and we could have a good interaction, physical meeting, and now it has been changed. We are relying more on digital resources. So we have to understand the importance of digital resources, and from public health sector also, we have to go for this to develop and to use digital resources more professionally and more efficiently. You can see the digital initiatives by ICR. Already these were being done by ICR, and now these are being used profusely. Few I may cite, Dr. Prabhat Kumar may elaborate the same. For example, National Information System on Agriculture Education Network in India. We have Krishi Course, a digital repository in ICR. These are the portals at ICR website from where one can download the information. As you are aware that ICR and National Agricultural Research System, they follow the open access policy. We have integrated digital assemble of the agricultural libraries. In short, we call it IDEAL. We can be benefited from there, and we have to develop more and more mobile apps. Few are being developed by our ICR institutes as well as our universities and veterinary colleges. We also have Krishi Vigyan Kendra Knowledge Network portal. Here also we have to see that how we can make the people aware about the zoonotic diseases. So just I wanted to emphasize that we have to strengthen the digital resources for better awareness on zoonotic diseases in the professional as well as in population, which may help the people to save themselves and to bring the safety and security against the zoonotic disease. One thing we have to understand, this is not going to end. We are facing, we are winning sometimes, we are losing the human in the form of human death, but we have to continuously keep on to face the challenges, to fight the challenges, and to win over the challenges. With this, I am again thankful to my colleagues at MAPSU who gave me a chance and to interact with all of you people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. As sir has again rightly said, we need to definitely change our habits, which cause the disruption of ecosystem and enhance the transmission of zoonotic diseases amongst the species, and also focus on the risk assessment and One Health aspect. Also, we should develop and strengthen our digital resources in the current scenario to face the emerging challenges. I now take the privilege to request our guest of honor, Dr. Prabhat Kumar, National Coordinator, NATP CAST, ICAR, New Delhi, to educate the gathering with his words.
Thank you very much. And really, it is a matter of great pleasure for me to attend such a, important aspect and vis-a-vis the galaxy of the people I have come across when you were taking the name. My very old senior from the ICR, Dr. Madan. When we were the student, we were listening his name. So today it is a really honor for me, and I'm privileged to be a part of that gathering where sir is present, and Dr. Varsne, Dr. Ashok Kumar, my own senior from the headquarter, and a very honorable Vice Chancellor, worthy Vice Chancellor, or rather I say with my own interaction that digitally, though physically we have not met due to Corona after sanctioning this particular project, but he's a very dynamic and really I have seen he has been a source of inspiration to win this particular NHEP program. Dr. Patukar, and Dr. BP Mishra, Joint Director and the man of genetic diseases, as I have heard, and Dean and Directors of the MAPSHU. Really, they are the really, energy from here our other teams people are taking, power to converse such type of program there. And Dr. Zende, the PI of the program and his team, and I also heard that Professor Hong from Japan, he has joined today, and Dr. JPS Gill. So forgive me if I am unable to take the name of the few people, but really the gratitude, actually it's not to one person, but gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. So my gratitude to all academicians in such a topic. So people have talked about the celebration. So actually celebration, if you see, it is always tightly linked with the 2C. Once the celebration is there, the commitment is ultimate. So celebration and commitment. Today's day is a of celebration and commitment day. We have to see, I'm not going into detail of the zoonotic diseases. I'm not expert. I'm basically a floriculture and landscaping people. And now I'm looking after the educational aspect in the country for the quality and relevance. So basically, zoonotic diseases, if you see, we are celebrating today the 6th July, and 1885, it was the first vaccine administered against rabies. So we are today celebrating. And evidence-based research, why we are celebrating it and remembering the name, evidence-based research is very much important. So that's why we are keeping the stock of the development took place. So today, actually, if you see the particularly host jumping, I read a one review paper. So why this particular host jumping is so fast? Can be just as a scientist of the, zoonotic diseases, can we have a one map where we can see the historical perspective, whether the frequency of jumping was same in the last 100 years, or with the last 10-20 years the jumping of the host has increased. That poses actually one of the question what actually I thought as a non actually veterinarian. And basically, when I was struggling to find out the reason, so I climate change has played, so attribute something to that. Then the habitat encroachment. I was thinking that when I was in Himalaya, I served there for a while. I was villagers used to tell me, sir, early we have encroached into the forest. So whether that particular changes has brought something, so that we have to think. Then the one thing, millennial population, that is increasing in our society. The people are actually trying to live alone. That is a millennial population. And now they have developed the habit to whom to talk. So more pet and plants they are bringing into home, and they are hugging. They are just like behaving like a human. So whether once the changes are taking place with the millennial population, are they aware those pets or the plants are carrying some, diseases also? Okay, you can enjoy, you can take a rest, psychological relief you can take. But ultimately, do's and don'ts, whether they know or not, where our role is. Then another one is a flat word. We cannot stop flat word because technology is there. Every people is aspiring for the betterment. So that cannot be actually stopped. So we have to see, as it is said by my senior, from the economy to ecology. So there should be a balance. That should be a policy or advisory. But as a scientist, what actually I thought that was then I thought that managing genetic diseases, though you people are experts, I'm not expert, but awareness, that is a more important what I actually observed in this particular global crisis. When this lockdown started, it was awareness who has actually somewhere become a driver to reduce the quantum jump of the corona in the country. So the public media, how can be used? It was said by the digital means. Then the surveillance, that is a very much important, what I noted down with my own, tacit knowledge, because structured knowledge, you are the master of the structured knowledge. I am not the master of structured knowledge. I am the just saying with my own tacit knowledge. Then establishing of the chain, how these diseases are actually happening, and breaking up the chain. That is how we can break it, this chain. So I was thinking that the cleanliness, when I gone through this public health, genetic diseases, and CDC of the US, I was just surfing. Then everywhere I have seen, once you are touching any object, you simply go and wash your hand. Take care, because once you develop a habit, the pets, wildlife to whom we are going to see, observe, and meet and touch, they are all having the diseases. Such type of thing can be inculcated to our younger generation, or the generation we are, so that we can take care of. And it reminded me the old system of living of the asramas. And in lockdown, we have seen many, serials where even the Lord Rama is entering into asramas of the any rishi, immediately wash the feet and hands. System, it means we were in the forest. Our journey started from the forest. These particular animals were cohabiting with us. What happened suddenly? This particular pandemic we are actually observing. So these are the few actually I thought I must share with this August gathering. The timely availability of vaccine, that is another important, and digital resources, as it was said by Dr. Ashok Kumar, it's a really good option. So that's why we are able to connect Japan today. The physical space and time has no boundary in the digital era, but once we are using for last 3 months too much digital resources and digital online. So I was thinking then, feeling of touch, can any psychologist or any tool we can develop where we can see by digital means and feeling of touch, or same or some learning outcomes are restricted. So but we in this particular pressurized time, we have to go for the digital. There is no way. And the augmented reality and virtual reality, we are trying to find out in our education system. And very soon virtual classes, a team we are going to establish. And a resilient agriculture education system will come in the country when we are having the IT infrastructure. So in that way, the ICR has taken a lead through this project, and we have developed another data center. Basically, hosting of the data is very important, and data management. I'm not going into detail of that because it become a menace if you see the data generation. So use of the data, and for the decision making, that is very important. And putting those data in a secure way, that is another one issue. So in the ICR system, we are developing our own data center so that we can go for the sustainable system of the digital development. Otherwise, on the cloud, we are putting, after 3 years, 2 years, they will charge heavily. So how we can establish our own system? We are trying to develop a NARS, and very soon we are going to announce this in the name of Krisi Meg. We are thinking that on that. So that would be our own cloud of the NARS system. So basically, when we are talking about, I have listened one Hindi word. There should be a sabdavali, means the words, group of words. It should be janagrahi. Janagrahi means people should understand. So in the Zoonoses means whatever literature we are developing, today we can take a commitment, at least something should come out, which should be that Sabdavali should be Janagrahi, means all people can understand. And this day we are celebrating in the honor of such a great scientist who has saved the millions of the life, Louis Pasteur. So that would be actually a real commemoration and and honor to the scientist. If we are coming something of this particular deliberations, and at least pamphlet we can have from the NHCP side for the, just to do's and don'ts, and you can minimize the infections or are able to break the chain of the infectious disease. And as it is said by our again senior, we are developing a number of centers we are opening, but we need a high quality human capital. That is very important in today's context, that human capital, what type of human capital we are having. So this particular cast is one of the interventions from our side to generate high quality of human capital to address such type of global crisis. That's why we have given an ample opportunity in this particular project to train our people, not only in India, the best available, technology or the science happening at the global level, they can visit. And we have given a lot of freedom in this particular project, and Honorable Vice Chancellor has been allowed in this particular time. Here our Madan sir is sitting. Earlier we used to call the people for training, and training was finalized at our ICR level. Sir, for your information, this time we have highly decentralized it, and it all power given to the PI and Honorable Vice Chancellor to select and send outside, so that we can minimize, clearing time of the cases, and they know better to whom they can send and train and make the future capital of the country. And today, as I said, it is basically, once we are talking about any outcome, so I will just close with my sentence: Anna Danam, Param Danam, Vidya Danam, Atah Param. So we academicians, we researchers gathered today to give some dana, that is a Vidya Danam. So Vidya Danam, Atah Param. Anna Danam we are giving already, and Vidya Danam. And as it says, I'm again in tune of that, we cannot do any science in silo or isolation. So there should be a marriage between the medical sciences, engineering, agriculture, veterinary, and scientific output must be weave like a best tailor available in the country or at world for the humanity. So science for the humanity, that Louis Pasteur taught us on this particular day, 6 July 1885. I cannot forget, because when I was reading history the same day, 1885 was the day for the India also historical day, A.O. Hume formed the Congress. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And indeed, it was a really pleasure when I heard these names, stalwarts, and I congratulate, I thanks, and Dr. Paturkar, particularly calling such a legendary of the field, and allowing them to share their tacit knowledge of whole life, because they will talk about the wisdom today. I know they are having more than 40 years of the experience they are carrying, and the wisdom is a daughter of the experience. So today our students and the young generation will be benefited with today's deliberation. I wish a grand success this particular day of celebration and commitment. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Sir has focused on another important aspect to be considered, which is the hose jumping and awareness of the society with the use of media for the same. And again, he has mentioned the preparation or development of a Shabdavali, which would be very easily understood by a common man, with the help of which we can again aware the society, make the society aware of the zoonotic diseases. And also the contribution of academicians to the ICAR NHEP CAST program, which will be very significant. Thank you so much, sir. I now cordially invite Dr. M.L. Madan, former Vice Chancellor and DDG ICAR, New Delhi, to please bless the gathering with his words.
Oh. It's great to be amongst you, my fellow professionals. And it's heartening to see the galaxy of the professional people to be around here and addressing a problem which over the past few months has greatly affected humanity. It has been very beautifully said that it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. It was the age of darkness and it was the age of hope. It was the age of despair and the age of helplessness. I believe that we're coming out of that. And the very fact that the way we are now getting organized to challenge the event, which has subdued us in a manner in which that we'll be becoming more historically and fundamentally more successful than what we were probably previously. Two things which very quickly I would like to share. First is that hardly has ever the humanity been subjected to such chaos and confusion as it is today during the last 70,000 years of Homo sapiens. Today, we certainly are at great crossroads. And it has given us an opportunity to change our thinking, our direction, and our methods. And I was very pleased to hear Ashok and Prabhat that who talked of this such a change being brought about in the coming days. I did not to bring forth to you the importance of zoonoses, but I need to bring about a dimension which probably has not been touched so far and which I am now very much concerned about with. When we're talking of zoonoses, what we really say is that diseases which get from the animals to the human species, whatever effort we might make, this gets terminated at one point of time, that is with the animals itself. Unless we have a very close association with the medical sciences, with the human medicine, and unless we drastically change our system of working, in which that we will shackle out of our compartments, it's very difficult, and I say it will be very hard to make a breakthrough, especially in this expanding world of zoonotic diseases. What I'm specifically referring is that we're today talking of one world. We're talking of one health. When we say one health, where are we really addressing ourselves? We're addressing ourselves in one health again to the livestock, the veterinarians, the birds, and the environment which they create. But one important aspect is that unless and until that this environment is imbibed to the professionals, medicos, that this thing will not go very far. I have in the recent past proposed a change in the educational system. I say that when we talk of zoonotic diseases, that there should be a much greater emphasis in zoonotic diseases in human health, in human pathology, in human epidemiology. And it is here that once the two work together, that we will be able to make a steady and strong and leading progress. Today, what is needed is a little amount of shift in the leadership who now need to emphasize on this education part of it. We may today be talking of developing new vaccines, developing of new diagnostics, but those diagnostics remain sometimes in the wells of our professional excellence. Unless that we jump out of it, and unless we carry, or not only carry, but bring the medical profession together. As a matter of fact, the ICR level, I would strongly recommend that there should be a joint panel, as we have got panels for other things. We should have a joint panel. Since I was heading a couple of them, I have always found that this ICMR, ICAR, and the scientific investigative teams, which we have got, need to come together, and they need to have a new focus. And that focus should go into the veterinary education, that should go into the medical education, and there should be a little change in that. I think professionally that people have talked a lot and will be speaking about various aspects of it. I think that today, in a brief interaction which I am having with you, and I'm honored to have it and a pleasure to be meeting you, I thought that let me flag this very important issue which may be carried forward. I have personally to express my profound thanks to Professor Prudkar, Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor Matsu, to Dr. Sherikar, former founder Vice Chancellor of that university. And I remember those formative days when I was around there, that how difficult it was to get things going, and how we finally could manage to have a professional university which is performing exceedingly well, with so many campuses on there, and the faculty there has come out so well that they are today taking leadership in the several places of the country. And I have seen Professor Ranade and all that doing it not on one place, but at several places. And my salutations to you all, and thank you for this opportunity to be speaking to you.
Thank you, sir. Sir has again pointed out the termination of diseases in the animals, and also the veterinarians to be working together with the human medicine. Again, we need to change the education systems, including the medical sciences, such that it benefits the societal health in the long term. Thank you so much, sir, for your fruitful suggestions. I now take the pleasure to request our guest of honor, Dr. BP Mishra, sir, Joint Director Research and Project Coordinator, Outreach Program on Zoonotic Diseases, ICR IVRI Izzatnagar, to enlighten us.
Thank you, Dr. Sonal. I'm audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
A very good morning to everyone, and salutations on the eve of World Zoonosis Day, and salutations from IVRI. It's indeed a very privilege for me to attend this particular event of international webinar on the eve of World Zoonosis Day in mid of a pandemic, which, as we always say, that these virtual conferences are the new rule of the day. And this pandemic has made us to understand that how to celebrate the World Zoonosis Day. And this particular pandemic has given us or made everyone aware of the world zoonosis worldwide, to everyone. And that's what the importance of zoonosis this pandemic has brought about. At the beginning, I am delighted to see Professor Dr. Emil Madan, the most revered doyen of veterinary science, Professor A.T. Serikar, sir, the founder, Vice Chancellor of MAPSU, Professor Colonel Dr. Paturkar, the dynamic Vice Chancellor of MAPSU, Professor A.C. Varsne, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mathura Veterinary University, DDG Education, Dr. Agarwal, my colleague, Dr. Ashok Kumar, Assistant Director General Animal Health, the National Coordinator, Dr. Prabhat Kumar of NIHEP, distinguished Director Research, Dr. Kurkure from MAPSU, Dr. Ranade, Associate Dean, Mumbai Veterinary College, Dr. Jende, the organizer of this particular meeting and the PI of the project, the distinguished speakers from Japan, Dr. Oi, Dr. J.P.S. Gill, the Director Research of Gadwasu, and the speaker, Dr. Kulkarni, the ex-director of NISAG, Bhopal. My colleague, Dr. Gulegaonkar, the in charge of the TEC, Pune Center IVRI, the distinguished faculty of MAPSU, the Bombay Veterinary College, distinguished participants from various outreach program of zoonotic diseases, students, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a privilege, as I said, and this particular pandemic, as we see, the yesterday's figure is 11.56 million deaths worldwide in the positive cases, and 5,36,000, close to 5,36,000 deaths. India today stands at 6,97,000. We crossed to the third position day for yesterday with 19,700 deaths. And yesterday was having again close to 24,000 cases. So in that scenario, this year's World Zoonosis Day, as ADG Health was telling that this particular Zoonosis Day this year will definitely bring everyone who are associated with One Health mission the importance of zoonosis. And it has now felt that everybody, that what is a zoonotic disease or importance of zoonosis, to be very precise. As Professor Madan has already pointed out, the very important aspect that what this pandemic has taught us, and taught us the importance of zoonotic diseases, which need not to repeat. But one thing is sure, that this pandemic has not only created a chaos worldwide, but it has made everybody felt, because it has not only have the human lives, but it's a challenge to humanity, as it has done more difficulty in terms of livelihood as well. So therefore, one side, the human life, and the other way, the livelihood lost, is something which is a challenge. And I hope that under this darkness, the opportunity and also to understand zoonosis in a much better way is the requirement of the day. Therefore, as we see in the past, that the avian influenza H5N1, the disease when started in 2003, and World Bank has estimated that about 20 billion US dollar has been lost as livelihood. Thereafter, in 2003 again, the SARS has made about 774 deaths, 284,000 deaths by the H1N1 in 2009, and the last one, Ebola, in 14-15, has about 11,000 deaths. Today, we are in a crossroad. And therefore, to understand this disease and zoonosis is a challenging task. And as we are, the Bombay Veterinary College is organizing this international webinar on Zoonosis Day, I think Bombay Veterinary College in India is the citadel of veterinary science, started 134 years back, 1886, followed by, in the same state of Maharashtra, 1889, the Imperial Bacteriological Laboratory, which we called IVRI today. So both these institutions of repute, 134 years, and close to 1885, the vaccine development. So we are as old as those events. And therefore, today organizing this international webinar in a time when we are in a crossroad, I hope that this has taught us to be more resilient and also to understand the science of zoonosis in a One Health approach would be the right way to deal or go for the future. In that way, as you have seen, this particular disease was started in November end or December in Wuhan, China, and till today, the number of research papers or the number of groups working is so tremendous that every day we are having new information created. But still, as you say, and everyone says that we have not yet understood this particular virus. Meaning that the crossover from one species to another, at one point of time, it is told that it is in wildlife, in some point of time, pet animals may. Today also a possibility whether or not there are many animal reservoirs which are harboring this virus. So therefore, to understand the biology of this virus and the animal component, including pet and wild, is a challenge. And as veterinarians, we have our own responsibility to carry out research to understand the biology of this virus and also epidemiology. And that's what we at ICAR, under this outreach and zoonotic disease program, which is 1 decade now, is going towards a changing mode in One Health approach, and I hope that the diseases which will be undertaken in the next 5 years will have a focus on the One Health aspect of these zoonotic diseases, including the coronavirus infection in man and animals. So with that, I will not go in detail because we will have hearing the distinguished speakers, Dr. Hong Wei, Dr. JPS Gill, and Dr. Kulkarni. But one thing we should now focus on human lives and livelihood, what COVID-19 has taught us. And I hope and pray that we would come across from this crossroads, and with the darkness, we will see a light through new science, and hope a vaccine is in the day to come, and hope we understand the virus biology and epidemiology in a much better way. I again have a greetings on the World Zoonosis Day, and thanks the MAPSU Vice Chancellor and the PI of the NAHEP and OPJT project to organize this webinar and invite me for this particular day to witness this webinar. And I wish all the success, and thank you once and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Again, the SARS, Ebola, H1N1, and other emerging diseases, and also the COVID-19 pandemic has brought a lot of chaos to us, and also does, in a way, taught the human beings to understand the importance of zoonosis and the One Health concept with for which we need to again come up with new science to tackle these diseases. Thank you so much, sir, for your inputs. We were supposed to have the chief guest and the chief patron of the function, Dr. R.C. Agrawal, sir, DDG ICR New Delhi, to address us. But because of some important assignments, he couldn't join with us. So I would now cordially invite the chief patron and chairman of today's function, Professor A.M. Paturkar, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, MAPSU, to address the gathering with his presidential remarks.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Founder Vice Chancellor, Dr. A.T. Sherikar, sir. National Director, Dr. R.C. Agrawal, and DDG Education, ADG, Dr. Ashok Kumar ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. M.L. Madan, sir. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Vasne, sir. Dr. B.P. Mishra, Joint Director, IVRI. Guest of Honor, Dr. Prabhat Kumar, National Coordinator, NAHEP. Dr. D.D. Kulkarni, eminent speaker, Dr. Bilegavkar, my deans, directors, Associate Dean of Mumbai Veterinary College, PI and co-PI, and my special guest today from Japan, Dr. Oi, all the students from India, from Japan, all the participants from India, from other NAHEP project, from other institutes, ladies and gentlemen, I must welcome all of you on this occasion of World Zoonosis Day. I must congratulate organizer and Associate Dean of Mumbai Veterinary College, who has able to organize this World Zoonosis Day webinar in such a short time. Everybody has spoken about the zoonosis, number of diseases which are transmitted between animals and human. One Health approach in veterinary science, as well as to combat such diseases which are common in human and animals. Jumping of the host, diagnostic, and so on. I don't want to repeat that all. But for the kind information of all the audience, Basically, we are working on zoonotic diseases. We are working on food safety issues of animal origin. We are working on diagnostic. We are working on so many aspects, but which are scattered. Somebody has spoken about collection of data, where we are lacking regarding these zoonotic diseases, either in animals or human beings. And the third aspect, which has rightly pointed out by Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. A.T. Sherikar and Dr. M.L. Madar, this is the first time which we are observing or witnessing such kind of huge economical loss, human deaths, and so many other things, fear because of this COVID-19. And I think this is just first challenge, and we must be prepared for such challenges in future which are going to come to us. And for that, we have to change our mindset basically. Second thing, we have to work in collaboration. Collaboration, not only one or two projects, it should be a policy of Government of India. How medicos, how veterinarians, how environmentalists should work together and collect the data, have the risk analysis of various diseases which are of public health importance. It may be bacterial, it may be viral, it may be parasitic. And then come out with the policy. This is the part of veterinary science, this is human health, this is environmentalist. And this, if we can do together, we will come out with some solution for the country. There are eminent speakers, which I also like to hear, like Dr. Oi, Dr. D.D. Kulkarni, Dr. B.P. Mishra, who are working since long on these issues. Once again, thanks everyone for joining this webinar, and thank you organizers. अरे वार्ष्णेय सरांना बोलू नाही दिलं मॅडम. डॉक्टर वार्ष्णेय.
So Dr. Varshney had said he
actually he just went out and he will be coming back after half an hour. He will join the webinar.
So thank you, sir, for your persistent guidance. And now here, all our dignitaries have collectively focused on the One Health aspect, the contribution of the veterinarians and medicos and all the other health services, including the agricultural scientists, in combating with the emerging and the newly identified diseases, especially the zoonotic diseases again. And I thank you all the dignitaries for being with us. Before concluding again, I would like to remind everyone that this function will be immediately followed by a technical session on various aspects of zoonosis by eminent speakers. We are pleased to have here Dr. Hong-King Oi, Professor, Laboratory of Parasitology, School of Veterinary Medicine, Azabu University, Japan, who will illuminate us about the global status of trichinosis in animals and humans and its prevention and control strategies. Followed by Dr. J.P.S. Gill, Director of Research, Guru Angad Dev Veterinary and Animal Sciences University, Ludhiana, Punjab, who will enlighten us with the prevention and control strategies of zoonosis through One Health approach. Dr. J.P.S. Gill is probably not available with us because of some important assignments with the cabinet ministers. So Dr. Jasbir Singh Bedi will join us instead of him. And we also have Dr. D.D. Kulkarni, ex-director ICR Nishat, Bhopal, who will brief about the current status of Nipah virus in India. I request all the dignitaries, faculties, other technical staff, post and PhD students to stay tuned with us for the technical session. I now request Dr. V.M. Vaidya, Assistant Professor and PI OPZD, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I, Dr. V.M. Vaidya, Assistant Professor and PI OPZD and Co-PI NHAP CAST, Mumbai Veterinary College, on behalf of Maharashtra Animal and Fisheries Sciences University, Nagpur, and Mumbai Veterinary College, Mumbai, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the dignitaries, colleagues, students, and guests for joining us here today on the occasion of World Zoonoses Day, organized under World Bank funded ICR project NHP CAST and ICR project OPZD. First and foremost, I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. R.C. Agrawal, National Director NHP, who couldn't join because of his meeting with Director General ICR, but remain and always of inspiration for us. I would like to take this opportunity to thank President of today's function and my mentor, Professor Dr. A.M. Patrukar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor MAPSU, who has always supported and guided us and spare his valuable time for today's program and given presidential remark. Thanks a lot, sir. We are very much grateful to our guest of honor, respected Dr. A.T. Sedikar sir, founder and former Vice Chancellor MAPSU, who with his vast experience in this area has always been a source of inspiration to us time to time. Thank you very much, sir. We are grateful and a big thank to our special guest, Dr. M.L. Madan, former DDG Animal Science, ICR, and former Vice Chancellor Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Mathura, and former Vice Chancellor of PDKV Akola, for delivering an excellent information and valuable guidance on zoonosis and One Health. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to thank our special guest, Dr. Akhilesh Chandra Varsne, former Vice Chancellor Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, and presently Director General, Ayurved Research Foundation, Ghaziabad, who, despite his busy schedule, has found time for gracing today's webinar. Thank you, sir. We are very much grateful to our special guest, Dr. Ashok Kumar, ADG Animal Science ICR, for delivering an excellent information and valuable guidance on zoonosis and spare valuable time in spite of his busy schedule. Thank you very much, sir. I also express my heartfelt thanks to guest of honor, Dr. Prabhat Kumar, National Coordinator, NHP CAST, for his valuable guidance and providing encouragement and very good information on zoonotic diseases. Thank you so much, sir. I express my sincere gratitude to guest of honor, Dr. BP Mishra, sir, Joint Director and Project Coordinator, Outreach Program on Zoonotic Diseases, ICR IVRI, for accepting our invitation and providing valuable guidance and always encouragement to us and excellent coverage on zoonotic diseases. We are really inspired by your great words, sir. Special thanks to Dr. Kiran Bhilegaonkar, sir, Principal Scientist, ICR IVRI Pune, and our Executive Council member, MAPSU, for joining with us. I am grateful to Dr. A.P. Somkar, sir, Director of Instructions and Dean, and Dr. N.V. Kurkure, sir, Director of Research, MAPSU, for their inspiration, moral support, and encouragement. Thank you, sir. I express my heartfelt thanks to today's speakers, Dr. Han Kin Ui, Dr. D.D. Kulkarni, sir, and Dr. Jasbir Bedi, for accepting our invitation in a short period of time. And it is pleasure to listening to you all three and sharing your ideas and experiences. I would like to thank our beloved Associate Dean, Dr. A.S. Ranade, sir, for his constant support, help, and encouragement for organizing such events. I also extend my thanks to the convener, Dr. R.J. Jhende, sir, co-conveners, Dr. Ingole, Dr. Mrs. Patil, Madam, Dr. Shukla, Dr. Ingle, Madam, Dr. Bharkar, and all co-PIs who has taken a lot of efforts for organizing this wonderful event. I extend my thanks to the participants from Japan, especially Dr. Taira and others, and the participants from India, PIs of the OPGD centers across India, professors of Mumbai Veterinary College and MAPSU, and students of our college for participating in this program. Last but not the least, I appreciate the efforts taken by our VPS team of NHEP and OPJD, all staff members and students of Mumbai Veterinary College. I thank all of them for making this event a grand success. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Good.
We will continue with the technical session. I welcome everyone again for the technical session. I would again like to mention that we have distinguished scientists, Dr. Hong Kin Ui, Professor, Laboratory of Parasitology, School of Veterinary Medicine, Azabu University, Japan. Dr. Jasbir Singh Bedi, Associate Professor, School of Veterinary Public Health and Zoonoses, Garhwa, Ludhiana. And Dr. D.D. Kulkarni, Ex-Director, ICAR, Nisar, Bhopal. This session is being chaired by Dr. N.V. Kurkure, Director of Research, Marksu. The co-chairperson for the session is Dr. Mrs. S.B. Maji, Professor of Department of Veterinary Microbiology, Mumbai Veterinary College, and the rapporteur, Dr. P.V. Meshram, Assistant Professor and Co-PI, NAHEP Cast.
Hello.
I request the chairman, co-chairperson, and to take over the session now.
Hello. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, can we have some 5-minute break or we can continue?
Continue.
We can continue. Okay.
I
Okay.
think we should continue rather than breaking the tempo. Let us continue.
Okay, sir. Okay. So over to Dr. Kurkure, sir, please.
Good morning, all of you. At the outset, accept my greetings on the eve of the World Zoonosis Day.
No.
So yesterday we had Guru Purnima, and that very well said in our ancient times, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Nama. Yesterday I prayed for this, and today's treat, I could listen maybe virtually to all my mentors here. So thanks to all of them, those who have came here and talked to us and showed their blessings. Without taking much time, we are delayed by 10 minutes. I welcome all for this technical session. So all the respected personalities, Dr. Colonel Professor M. Paturkar sir, our Vice Chancellor, our first Vice Chancellor, Dr. A.T. Shirika, Dr. Madan sir, our ex-Vice Chancellor, and now he has decorated many positions. I won't take much time because it will take a lot of time. Dr. Vasne, Vice Chancellor, Dr. B.P. Mishra, Dr. Ashok Kumar, then Dr. Somkuar from our university, Dr. Ranade, and Dr. D.D. Kulkarni sir. So all these are my mentors and gurus. So that's why I started with that without taking much time. So with my co-chair, Dr. Maji, and rapporteur, Dr. Meshram, I welcome you all for this session. So in this session, we have in all 3 lectures, and 3 lectures will be from Dr. Hong King Wee. Then instead of Dr. JPS Gill, Dr. Bedi will deliver his talk, and Dr. D.D. Kulkarni sir, these 3 lectures are there. For each lecture, we have 20 minutes. First, I will introduce the first speaker. Our first speaker, Hong King Wee, born in Kedah province of the Malaysia, and he obtained his veterinary graduation and doctoral from the Hokkaido University, Japan. Then he served as 3 years as a researcher in the same university, and then proceed for higher studies to the Johns Hopkins University, USA. He was there for 2 years. After returning from there, he was an instructor in the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine at the Hokkaido University, and then he took up the position of Associate Professor at the National Chung Hing University, Taiwan. Later on, he became a full professor there. Then he served as an executive director of the International Relation Committee there, and he is honored to be a first dean of the Office of the International Affairs there. Then after after this position is over, then he moved to Yamaguchi University, Japan, and he served as a full professor there. Then he decorated the positions of DDG for the international affairs and later the deputy vice president of this same office. Then he is now decorating the position of full professorship at Azabu University, Japan. And he has a lot of awards to his credit. And to mention few, Japanese government scholarship, several National Council Research Awards, and he is the outstanding research award recipient of the university also. He has a lot of articles to his credit and books also. And his expertise on the parasites and its control is really remarkable. So I welcome Dr. Wee for his talk. Over to Dr. Wee, please.
Can you show the slides that I've sent so that I can just explain the slides to everybody?
Sir, you can share your slides.
Yes, you can you put it on
Sir,
there?
sir, we are allowing you to share the slides.
Yes. Show everybody the slides, and then I'll just explain on the slides. Is that okay?
Yeah.
How do you show it? Where is the slide? This is the first time that I'm having this.
Dr. Jhende, I request you to please share the slides which are handed over to you by Dr. Wee. You share from your side so that he will deliver a talk.
Sir, you are not able to share the slides?
You can share from your.
How can I share my slide?
Yeah. We have permitted you. You can share the slides now.
Sir,
share the screen.
Dr. Wee, I will guide you. Dr. Wee, I will guide you.
Yes.
Just move the cursor on your screen. At the bottom, you will find share screen.
Wait. Let me see. Where is it? Share screen.
Yeah.
At the bottom.
But
it says chart and then okay, share. Yeah. It says share.
Click on the share screen. But you should have your presentation open before.
Okay. Now let me open the presentation. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Sir, no issue.
Wait. Now. Okay. Now the presentation is open.
Yeah. Now you go to share screen.
I go to how do I wait, let me see. This is the and then I go back to the Zoom, is it?
Yeah. You go to on Zoom, click on the share screen.
I've already opened.
Yeah. So you will
can you see? No, you cannot see.
No. You will see on your desktop many windows.
Many windows.
Just click on your presentation.
Yeah.
And then
it takes the whole screen.
Yeah. Just select your presentation.
Yes.
And then there is a one blue thing is there, share. You have to click on that, share.
Oh, and wait, let me see. This is the Zoom. I go back to the Zoom, is it?
Yeah, share screen.
No. Now can you see? No. Oh dear. Because I've never used Zoom before. This is the first time.
Sir, you just wait. We will be starting here from our side.
Okay, please.
Okay, just 2 minutes. 2 minutes you give.
Okay.
Open and then share.
How to share?
Just no, sir. We are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do I go back?
No, you, Dr.
Okay,
Wee,
now
wait.
I'm back. Okay.
Yeah, you just wait. Dr. Jhende will start sharing the slides from his end, and you just talk.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No
It's
problem.
okay. It's okay.
Well, actually, I've never used this Zoom before.
Yeah, the
Now
presentation
we
is
share, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And then so what do I do? How do I get rid of this? Oh, okay.
I would request you to mute all except Dr. Wee.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So everybody can see this now. And then how do I show the slides? I mean the
No,
pointer.
we can just pass one by one. You can just tell me.
Okay. Okay. So I'll start. I'll try to make it short within 20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Patukar and Dr. Zende, Dr. Vilas, Dr. Rupesh for this invitation. Okay, the title is Trichinosis in Animal and Humans in the World. So, okay, we move on to the next slide.
Next.
Wait. Let me just give you an.
Next slide.
Okay, next slide. Well, actually, for the nematodes, I guess you all are well versed in parasitology, veterinary parasitology, because we are talking to veterinarians, most of
I'm
you.
comfortable.
So, can you all hear me properly? Is
Yeah,
it
yes,
too
sir.
loud?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So for all nematodes, it belongs to a class Nematoda. And then this nematode, you can subdivide them into fast meat and afast meat. Okay, so in these slides we see afast meat nematodes. That means, okay, what is fast meat? Can you where can you show? Okay, you look at the slides on the left. Okay, then it shows the posterior end of the nematodes, and then there is fast meat. Okay. Oh, I mean, I'm trying to show you, but there is no what you call pointer on the left. Never mind. You just look at this fast meat. Okay, all these nematodes like the trichuris, the capillaria, and trichinella, and dioctophyme, they all belong to this afast meat group. That means they don't have this nerve ending at the end. All right. Then these trichuris and capillaria and trichinella, they have what we call stichocytes, which is actually the esophageal gland cell, and they are rectangular in shape. Okay, in this line. Okay, so next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right. So now we go into trichinella. Now everybody knows about CDC. Okay, the one on the top, the American. And then this CDC has produced a lot of figures of all the life cycles of the parasites. But I would like to bring to your attention that CDC is not 100% perfect. Okay, here we are, if you look at the red color, it's written skeletal muscle, not striated muscle, because cardiac muscle is striated. And in this CDC slides, we see that the larva is encysted in the striated muscle. So CDC is wrong. I just want to bring to your attention that because cardiac muscle is striated, and the larva of this trichinella does not encysted in the heart. All right. No, the problem is that I could not show you the okay. Well, trichinella, as you all know, is being transmitted by eating raw meats. Okay, and it goes into human, and it grows into the adult. You just look at 1 and then 2 and 3 at the right hand side at the bottom. Okay, the larva is released in small intestine, and then the adult parasitize in the intestine, and then they give birth to newborn larvae, and this newborn larvae encapsulated in the striated muscle. All right, and then we have the domestic cycle on the left, and then the sylvatic cycle. All right, that means they evolve in the wild animals. Okay, so we just move on. Next slide, please. Oh. Can I have the next slide, please? All right, this slide shows that there are now 12 species of Trichinella. All right. And here we can see, if you look at the map of India, it's written that Trichinella pseudospiralis can be found. But this map was produced many years ago. Actually, why was Trichinella pseudospiralis shown on the map in India? I guess you all know that there is this book written by E.J.L. Soulsby, Lord Soulsby, Helminth Arthropods and Protozoa of Domesticated Animals. Okay, in this book is written that Trichinella pseudospiralis can be found in India. But later, of course, we found in 2017, the Indian researchers found many Trichinella all over the place, including Dr. Vilas Vatia in the field rat, I think, the rodents in Mumbai area. Okay, and here I can you just move on? Well, here I would like to bring to your attention that there is this number 2, T2, T nativa, and you can see that it's distributed in the northern hemisphere, especially in the Arctic region. Okay, and I have done experiments with Trichinella nativa. I put infected mice, I frozen them for a month in the refrigerator at minus 20 degree, and they are still alive after 1 month. Okay, this is Trichinella nativa, T2, all right? And then, of course, there are 3 species of Trichinella, T4, which is Trichinella pseudospiralis, and of course, this is T Papua, T10 and T11, T Zimbabwensis. They do not have encysted larva in the muscle. Well, the muscles are just, well, free moving inside the cytoplasm, all right? And of course, Papua means Papua New Guinea and Zimbabwe. And T. Zimbabwe was found in crocodiles. Okay, move on, please. Next slide, please. Here we have the same thing. Oh, how I just cannot do the chart recording. Well, anyway, here there are 12 species, and these blue species are non-encapsulated larvae. And Trichinella pseudospiralis T4 can infect birds, of course. And we also know that it can also infect this turtle too, you see. And T. Papua and T. Zimbabwensis, they are all non-encapsulated, but they can infect crocodiles, right? In fact, T. Zimbabwensis was found in crocodiles by Dr. Sampson. All right, we'll just move on because time is quite pressing. Can I have the next slide, please? And this slide shows the different animals that humans have eaten, the meat, and then they got infected. All right. So I would like to bring to your attention that in at number 14, this is sheep and horses and camel. These are all herbivores, and how can they get infected with Trichinella? Well, we have done experiments with sheep. All we have to do is just we put this infected mice infected with Trichinella, just throw it near the sheep, and then the sheep will just eat it together with the grass, I mean the hay, okay? And then when we examined the sheep, they were infected, okay? Actually, we have done this experiment in Kuwait, okay, with my friend Al-Qami. That was before Iraq invaded Kuwait many years ago. Okay, so it's not only the carnivores that transmit Trichinella to human. We can see that there are Arctic mammals like walrus and seal, and also herbivores, okay, including horses. In Japan, they eat fresh or raw horse meat as sashimi. Okay, so move on, please. Next slide, please. Well, these are all the clinical signs that you can find in any of those textbooks. So I'm not going to go into detail, except that when animals are being infected with trichinella, we do not treat them because first, they do not show much a severe infection unless they are heavily infected. So for human, there is the intestinal phase when human just ate the raw meat, and then well, they get enteritis and nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. Okay, so this is the intestinal phase. It occurs usually after 3 to 5 days after ingestion of the raw meat. Then you have the acute muscular phase where the adult worms will start to give birth to this newborn larva, and this newborn larva goes into systemic circulation. Okay, there you find fever, facial edema, skin eruption, small hemorrhages, myositis. That means pain in the muscle, especially the masseter, you see, where you want to talk, and respiratory muscle that causes dyspnea and well, sometimes myocarditis. And then we have the chronic phase where the larva just enter the skeletal muscle and start developing into infective muscles. Okay? And this infected muscle is called nurse cells. All right, can I have the next slide, please? So diagnosis therapy, you still can find that in textbook. I'm not going to go into detail. Well, we do not apply therapy for animals. Like if it's pig, then we just slaughter them. But we do, well, take precautions that our food animals do not get infected. For example, pigs like to eat the tails of other pigs. So we just cut off the tail of the pig. Okay, so that is one reason. And Salus reaction is an experiment, is a diagnostic method for people without money, without a lot of research fund. All you have to do is just take the larva, kill them, dry them up, and then you take the human syrup, put on top of them, and then incubate them. Then you look under the microscope, and then that's your diagnosis.
नागपुर से क्यों वो वहाँ गया हुआ नहीं घर में देखता होगा ये कहता है ये उसको ना sir it was a pleasure to see you live in the webinar of Veterinary Science today. I witnessed the same enthusiasm, depth of knowledge, and convincing advice rendered to the audience so lively. Respectfully belated wishes on Guru Purnima and waiting to see you again and again. I'm sending you some of the pictures. Allow me to introduce to you my niece, Dr. Sonal Ingle, who is conducting the proceedings of this meeting.
Can I move on? Well, you just detect the serum antibodies, and these are the therapy for human. Okay? So, well, the humans are just administered steroid. Excuse me. Okay. Well, usually it is in human because of this immunoreaction. Like, for example, this COVID-19, they try to suppress this interleukin-6 and TNF-alpha because these are the two interleukins that causes the cytokine storm that kills human. Okay, so now we know how to suppress them. So this will reduce the fatality rate of human. Okay, but for this trichinella, it's still the same immunoreactions. So first we just suppress it with this steroid, and then after stabilizing, then we give antihelmintic. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, I still have 5 minutes. Okay, this slide shows that there are two types of bears in Japan. One is if you look at the two bears, the picture at the bottom, you see. In Hokkaido, we have the Hokkaido brown bear and then the black bear. So this slide shows the outbreak of human trichinellosis in Japan since 1974, and these are the patients, the number of patients, and then the number in parentheses are those who have eaten the raw meat, and usually is the black bear meat. Okay, recently we have one in 2016. You see, a brown bear in Hokkaido was shot, and then it was brought to Ibaraki Prefecture in Honshu, and then they fed it to 27 people as roast bear meat, which is only cooked on the surface. Okay. Next slide, please. All right, the one on top shows the encapsulated larva, which is Trichinella spiralis. And then you can see the capsule on the top right hand. And then at the bottom is the Trichinella pseudospiralis. And if you can see properly, on the left bottom slides, if you see properly, you can see the larva. But for those who are not experienced, they will just miss out the larva. Okay, so next slide, please. And here we can see the whole life cycle of we can see the adult male, the adult female, and then the adult female in the intestine. That means we made the slides, and then it goes in between the villi of the intestine. And then from the left bottom photos, it shows the copulatory appendage of the adult male. That means the adult male will just hook on using this copulatory appendage to the female at the vulva. Okay, and then we can see the newborn larva that was shed out. It's actually larviparous. That means the larva were born alive from the female, and then this newborn larva goes through the systemic circulation. And then on the right hand bottom photo, we can see the newborn larva that goes into the muscles. Okay, next please. Here, the one on the left is a slice, okay, a histopathological section of pig that is being infected with Trichinella spiralis. Okay, we can see the cyst. The cyst wall is being stained positive with PAS, positive acid shift stain. Okay, the one that's stained for carbohydrate. And then on the right hand side of the slides, the top right hand side is the Trichinella pseudospiralis, and both are in pigs, okay, swine. These are experimental infection. Can I have the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Okay, actually, this slide shows the experimental infection of pig with Trichinella spiralis and pseudospiralis. Okay, the bottom line is that if you want to do a diagnosis of pig, okay, in the abattoir, you just look at the tongue and the diaphragm, because these are the two places in the pig that has the highest number of larvae, okay, the highest density. So the one in yellow, okay. So next slide, please. Okay, so what does this slide shows? If you look at the slide on the left, okay, left, top left, it shows the Trichinella, and then with a lot of Trichinella larva with the encysted wall, as well as a lot of inflammation, okay, inflammatory cells around it. Okay. When you have such inflammation, it means that the host is experiencing pain, okay, inflammation of the larva, of the muscles. And the right hand type and the right hand corner, top right hand corner, shows the histological section of Trichinella spiralis and Trichinella pseudospiralis. TS is Trichinella spiralis, and TP is Trichinella pseudospiralis. Because, well, this is the first slide in the world that shows that a host can be infected with both Trichinella spiralis and Trichinella pseudospiralis. Okay, so the two bottom slides are Trichinella larva that has been well isolated after pepsin digestion. Okay, so all these slides, can you please move on? Next slide, please. Can I have, okay. So, well, these are all the practical for observing life cycle of Trichinella spiralis. So you can use mouse A, Trichinella spiralis, Trichinella pseudospiralis, both 40 days post-infection, then you can show your student, okay? And then mouse C is post-infection, 7 days, you just cut them up. I have, well, put this program into my Sakura Science Plan, and I think Dr. Rajesh or Dr. Vilas have experienced this. Okay, so next slide, please. Oh, it's already 20 minutes. Next slide, please. I think, okay, this is the last slide. Well, it's just thank you for your attention in various languages. The yellow one is English, and then terima kasih atas perhatian Anda, that's Malaysian or Indonesian, and then Japanese in blue, goseichou arigatou gozaimasu, and then kamsiare shooting, there's Taiwanese, because I was in Taiwan for 18 years, and then to the right in yellow is Kopkun Kap, there's Thai, and then gracias por su attention, there's Spanish. Okay, and then Qing Toto Zhijiao, there's Chinese, and then the one in white, there's Kamsamnida in Korean. Dankeschön and Spasiba, that's in Russian. Of course, I can just say a few words in these languages. So all the slides that I show you, all the Trichinella slides, they are all my own slides, okay? Because I made them. I made the section, I stained them, okay? So I'll just end my talk with a word of thanks for this invitation. And then if there's any other problem, you're all welcome to write to me. Okay, so that's 20 minutes. Okay,
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Wei, for giving an excellent overview of trichinosis. And I was personally very happy to see the histopathology and the inflammatory reaction around the parasites. Very nice pictures. And so I thank you. If there are some queries, I think, or some questions, you can please type in the chat box so that we can take those questions to him, and I would request him to reply them. So urgently, if quick 1 or 2 questions, please type in the chat box.
Dr. Gatne sir want to ask, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Dr. Gatne here.
Yes.
And I would like to just add that as far as the occurrence of trichinosis in India is concerned, Bombay group of parasitologists has worked extensively since 1942. The case of trichinosis was reported for the first time in India is 1942 in cat, and then subsequently in 1974 in rodents, and Nifadkar et al. In 1978 reported Trichinella spiralis for the first time in pigs. As far as the different species of Trichinella prevalent in India, there are till today 3 species. One is Trichinella spiralis, Trichinella pseudospiralis, and I think Dr. Vaidya would know Trichinella britovi has also been reported from India. That is just I wanted to add. Now, my query is, because we do the survey of different types of parasite, and the prevalence rate does not necessarily reflect the zoonotic risk. So is there any mathematical model to analyze the zoonotic risk of different parasites?
Okay, thank you very much for this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for these questions. Regarding this mathematical model, well, 後で電話してください。Alright, sorry, it's just to, well, nowadays, you see, there is a new approach to this type of mathematical model. We use what we call big data, okay? So if you can collect more of this data, you can get the specialists who are specialists in big data, put it in, you see the trend, and then you see the mathematical models coming out. In the olden days, you see, like for example, we have what we call the reproductive capacity index and all these things, you see. But well, actually, I'm not a mathematician.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you properly. I'm sorry.
Oh, you cannot hear me properly. Wait, let me see. Maybe I should make it louder. Okay, now you can hear me?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, I make it louder. All right. Nowadays, you see, when we make all these survey, we use this data and then we put it in the computer. And then now there is a new method they call a big data, big data analysis. Okay, like for example, the present day, the COVID-19, okay, in Taiwan, they use this big data to look at to control the disease, because in Taiwan they made a very good job out of it, because they utilize this new method called big data, you see, and then they were able to trace everybody and things like that. So in this new era, you see, when we have all this technological tool, maybe we have to discuss with the mathematical people. And well, if you ask me about this old mathematical model, maybe it does not apply anymore, you see, because now we already have newer techniques. Okay, we should be able to use that knowledge.
Thank you, Dr. Hui. Thanks for your good explanation, and maybe we will take note of it. And when we are studying in India, we will use those views, your views.
Yes.
So if there are no questions, I would go to next talk. And next talk is on prevention and control of zoonosis through One Health approach. And it will be delivered by Dr. Jasbir Singh Bedi. Dr. Jasbir Singh Bedi is a good friend of mine. He is presently holding the position of Associate Professor in School of Public Health and Zoonosis, Gadwas, Ludhiana, Punjab, since 2004. He completed his PhD from Gadwasu, and then he been to UK at University of Sussex for completing MSc, and then he had a special training for 4 months at Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, USA. Then he has a lot of research interest, particularly zoonosis epidemiology, diagnosis, detection of environmental pollutants, risk assessment of antimicrobial resistance. So had a wide range of interest. He is associated with many national and international research grants or projects funded by DBT, ICR, BBSRC UK, and Gates Foundation also. He has published more than 90 research articles in the Journal of Repute, of national and international repute. And he is a recipient of Young Scientist Award as well as the Best Researcher Award of the Gadwasu, Ludhiana. So I request Dr. J.S. Bedi to please start with your lecture on the zoonosis, control of zoonosis with One Health approach. And time is 20 minutes. Over to Dr. Bedi, please.
Thank you, Dr. Nitin Kurkre, for a nice word about introduction of me and your kind words that you told that I'm friend of you because we are working in the DBT network project, which comprises of the multi laboratories coordination. So instead of Dr. JPS Gill, who was supposed to give this talk, but because of his busy schedule and some urgent meeting at the Chandigarh, he left and he gave me opportunity to deliver this talk on zoonosis and One Health approach, which is a very much informative and very much helpful for the control of zoonotic infections which are emerging or re-emerging. Sir, could you please allow me to share my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
I think
yes.
you have been allowed to share the screen.
Okay. Sir, is it visible to all?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let us give an opportunity to start my presentation because the time is short. So I will first of all give a thanks to the organizing committee that who has given me an opportunity to interact with the stalwarts of the veterinary public health and other scientists who are working at the various fronts in India, and especially Dr. Hikoi, who is working on the trichinella in Japan. So my talk is will be start with the zoonotic infections. As you know that zoonotic agents, they transmit from animals to the human beings through the human, animal, and environment interface. And these zoonotic diseases, they not only affect the animal and human health, but they also play a substantial role in the economy as well as the livelihood of the farmers. And the zoonotic diseases, they pose different kinds of threats to the society, which broadly cover four different aspects, that the zoonotic disease events which may occur sporadically, or zoonotic emergencies may also occur in the form of epidemic or pandemic that we are receiving today of COVID-19. Then the endemic zoonotic diseases, which are endemic in particular country, like in India, we are endemic with the brucellosis, tuberculosis, rabies. So that is also pose a threat to the different states or the country. Then new or emerging zoonotic diseases. And I also include re-emerging zoonotic diseases in this because some of the zoonotic disease, they are re-emerged from the previous incidence level. And along with zoonotic threats, the animal-human environment interface is also causes issues in the antimicrobial resistance because the antibiotics, they are used in animal for the growth promotion or for the increase their productivity. Similarly, food safety because food-borne outbreaks increasing, and the food security because animal proteins, they contribute a significant proportion to the food security of the human population. So whenever an individual exposed to zoonotic diseases, they may get sickness because of the zoonotic infections, but there is a particular group of population which is more at risk to the zoonotic infection, and they comprises children, especially below 5 years old of age, adults which are older than 65 years of age, and people with a weakened immune system or have some disease condition, chronic disease condition, as well as the pregnant woman, because some of the zoonotic agents, they are responsible for the abortion in the pregnant woman. So the children and older people, they should be very careful about the zoonotic infections. And if we see this figures, they are quite alarming. If we go to the WHO or OIE website, we came to know that about 75% of the emerging infectious diseases of human, they have an animal origin. And the 5 new human diseases which appear every year, 3 are of animal origin. So the zoonotic diseases, they are contributing towards a lot in the aspect of the emerging zoonosis at the world level. And on right side, we can see the pathogens under transition. We can appreciate that there are only few pathogens for which we are able to control, or their incidence has been decreased. But on the left side, the up category is a very comprising numerous microorganisms which have been discovered recently or in the recent 2 decades. And currently we are passing through a phase of COVID-19, which is a pandemic, and it has affected more than 11 million people throughout the world with more than 5 lakh deaths. And in India, the disease condition is increasing at an alarming rate. So if we see that there are a lot of emerging diseases, there is a lot of aspects related to the economy or the health of the human being. So the concept of One Health was introduced because the control of zoonotic diseases or other One Health issue is not under the domain of one sector. So one sector cannot control such type of issues. So that is the reason the One Health concept came into existence, and this is defined by One Health Commission as collaborative effort of multiple health sciences profession together with their related disciplines and institutions working locally, nationally, and globally to attain optimal health for the people, domestic animals, wildlife, plants, and our environment. So this is a multi-sectorial or multidisciplinary approach to counter the One Health issues such as emerging zoonosis in the veterinary side. And OIE defined it is as a collaborative and all-encompassing way to address, when relevant, animal and public health globally. And this collaboration should not be limited to only international level, but must be translated as a new and fundamental paradigm at the national levels. So One Health comprises different sectors, which comprises animal husbandry, veterinary, medical sciences, environmental sciences, sanitary engineering, nursing, dentistry. So if they work collaborative, that comes under the One Health Commission. But it does not necessary that all work together. Among all the disciplines, if 2 disciplines they are working together, let us say veterinary and human medicine, that is also comes under the umbrella of the One Health. So if we go to the some websites, publication, especially PubMed, you would be surprised to know that during the last 40 years, the number of publications with the term One Health has been increased exponentially. From 1970 publication, the number has been increased to the 75,000 publication in the year 2019. And why the number of this publication is increasing? Why the literature on One Health is increasing during these last 3 decades? There are some reasons which I able to compile from the different research papers. And the first reason was that there is a rise of highly pathogenic avian influenzas in 1970. And at this time, I remember one quote by Dr. JPS Gill. He quoted that avian influenza, whether it proves blessing or disguise for the veterinarians, because at this time, the human medicine, they came into collaboration with the veterinary side. Because at that time, it was the conditions that the animal disease is resulting into the pandemic and will affect the human beings. So at that time, the collaboration started initiated between veterinary and medical sciences. And you will also know that there are several emerging zoonotic diseases occur in the last decades. And the increase in awareness and concern about climate change, which affect both the human and animal and their ecosystem. Then rapid increase in human population and urbanization. Increasing in population at the urbanization increases the contact rate between individuals. So the chances of disease transmission is a very rapid where the population density is high. And because of the increase in population, there is also pressure on the food production, especially of the animal origin, because it contributes protein to the human beings. And we also came to know that there are many foodborne outbreaks occurred in the recent past. And wildlife-human conflict because of the invasion of the human being to the wildlife, which increases exposure of human to the wildlife. Then antibiotic resistance, because the organisms with the resistance, they are able to transmissible between animals and human. They can also transmissible from the food of animal origin. Then the globalization of trade and movement of animals, because the developed countries, they are very concerned about their health standards, that they does not allow the introduction of animals which are suffering from the disease. So they are giving a lot of funding for the research on the origin of the disease in a particular country. And lastly, there is a development of efficient diagnostic tools which were not available earlier times. So they are very much helpful in the diagnosis of new or emerging pathogens. So during the preparation of this presentation, I come across one very interesting lecture. If you get time, I suggest you read this article. It is published in the PLOS One, where the authors, they have developed this One Health Cosmos model. And this is a system dynamic modeling approach, which is helpful in understanding the complex situations or the system such as One Health, which is a complex system. And in this article, the authors, they collected the literature which is published related to the One Health in the recent years. And they put all this information into the development of this model, able to understand the One Health concept. And initially, if you see in this model, there is a line from disease to the health. And first of all, they took three domains, which are animal, human, and ecosystem, which are part of the One Health ecosystem. And then the secondary elements, they were added into this model, which comprises if we see the biosecurity in animal science, zoonosis, then economy, globalization, and the various medicines or various educational disciplines which were included in these publications, right? And later, the variable elements were added to the each primary domains, like in animal, wildlife, livestock, and companion animals, they were added. And then the feedback loops or the connection links were united with the variable elements with the three main, you can say, domains of the public health. And after this, what they observed, that the animals and human beings, they are very closely connected through the zoonosis and the food supply. Okay, and the main articles in this literature were about the avian influenza, swine flu, leishmaniasis, and about food supply. They having many articles which were related to the antimicrobial resistance. So by both ways, the animals and human beings are connected very closely. And these zoonoses, what they observed secondly, that these zoonoses, they have a strong link with the economy of a country. So perhaps let us say if an outbreak occur in a country of zoonotic disease, if it is a large outbreak, it will affect the economy of that country at a huge level. Like if we have literature, then Ebola outbreak, it causes 2.2 billion losses in only few African countries. And we can also appreciate the economic losses occurring because of the COVID-19 in the world. Okay. Later on, it was also noticed that the companion animalship or the pet ownership is increasing not only in Western country, but also in the non-Western countries. So the pet animals, they can also bring disease to the human beings, such as echinococcosis or Lyme disease in USA. So the One Health helps in the understanding of the biology of the different pathogens which are responsible for the transmission from animals to the human being. And another interesting thing they noticed that in this model, the main educational institution which were related, they were belong to mainly the veterinary and human medicine. but there is a need of other institutions or other disciplines to be involved here to make this model stronger, because we need social scientists, we need sanitary engineers in the environmental sciences to make this group stronger, and so that the concept of One Health can be made easy for the understanding. So this is a multi-sectoral One Health approach for the zoonosis control. So if we want to build a zoonosis control program under One Health, let us say in India, then we need to develop the different action plans with their respective objectives. So in actions, there is a need to develop the strategic planning and emergency preparedness for the endemic zoonosis as well as the new emerging zoonosis in India. Then we need to develop surveillance for zoonotic disease and the information sharing between different sectors which are involved in the surveillance program. Then there is a need to develop the coordinated investigation and response so that we can give a response to the decision maker to avoid the spread of the zoonotic disease. Then we need to develop the joint risk assessment for the zoonotic disease threats so that we would be able to manage, communicate risk to the policy makers. And then risk reduction. In this, we need to involve the relevant stakeholders, and we need to provide consistent information about the best measure that can be taken for the risk reduction of the zoonotic disease. Then obviously there is a need to develop workforce at the national level so that we can build a One Health workforce at the national level. And there is a very good example that the One Health approach cannot be similar in all countries because resources and the infrastructures, they are different in different countries. So this concept has been given by this tri-party guide to address zoonotic disease in countries. So this concept is given that growing in One Health approach. So we need to consider One Health approach development like just a tree growing. So the country's competence in development of One Health concept can be judged by how fast and how effectively they can able to grow this tree. And this tree comprises different elements there are three essential elements if we want to focus on One Health for the zoonosis control. And they are, the first of all is the political will, because political will is very essential to design One Health program for the national level or at the regional level. Then this plan should have a substantial or a sustainable financing plan so that the research will be involved, so the finance will be continued. And there should be effective communication between all the ministries or all the departments who are involved in the development of the concept of a One Health approach. Then second part comes under the groundwork. For groundwork, like there is a need to develop multi-sectorial One Health coordination that like in India, one sector can take a lead for the development of One Health coordination, and other sector can become partner of that multi-sectorial coordination program. Then we need to develop the framework and guidance for the One Health control zoonosis programs. And then there's a need to monitor and evaluation. So the WHO, OIE have a specific tools which can monitor and evaluate the framework and guidance prepared by the multi-sector One Health component. Then there is a need to do the self-evaluation and self-assessment in a planting phase. And this can be done by internal or by taking a expert from the discipline, other discipline, and by taking a review meeting of the what we are making to do for the development of the One Health plan. Then risk profiling and further evaluation and assessment. So in this, we can do the disease prioritization at the national level or at the state level. Then the risk assessment of the diseases which we are able to include in action plan. Then with maturation, there is an action plans will be formulated, which will be further reviewed and support. And then the implementation phase will be, that will be the ripening of the fruits which we get from this tree. which will be visible at the ground level, that by enforcing all these components, we are able to apply this One Health concept by growing trees. And hereby I am giving you some of the examples where Gidwasu is doing the research in the component of One Health. For this, we have some collaborations with University of Saskatchewan, Royal Veterinary College London, then University of Sydney, Australia. And by quoting this example, we accomplished one study on the human brucellosis infection in a cross-sectional survey in the rural population in Punjab. So by author affiliations, you can appreciate the authors, they are from different departments. Like we have epidemiologist, we have microbiologist, then we have social scientists who visit to the rural farmhouse, and then we have a person from the veterinary sciences, we have person from the FAO laboratories, and this person is from health department of Punjab, and Dr. Rajesh Kumar from the PGIMER Chandigarh. So we conducted this study by taking into all the consideration, and through this study, we were able to identify some of the risk factor, which will be obviously help to design a control program for the brucellosis at the farm level. So in this program, we were able that the middle age group, they were at more risk to the brucellosis, and males, they were morely involved in this activity. The illiteracy were also associated with the more occurrence of disease. Then small ruminants at the farm, they were also associated with the more occurrence of disease. And assisting in abortion cases was reported to be more in the rural farmers of the brucellosis incidence. Then consumption of raw milk were also found to be associated. So by identifying these factors, we were able to communicate with the farmers through social scientists and the local people or the sarpanch, that we make them aware that avoid these type of risk factors to avoid the disease occurrence. Then in animal sector about brucellosis in bovine, we were able to quote some of the factors which were associated with the disease in animal, like the farmers, if they don't go for the quarantine of the animal which they purchase from outside, they have a more odds ratio for the disease in their farm. Then if they don't do any farm disinfection, or they do not isolate the animals which have a history of abortion, or they don't have any history of the purchase, in these type of factors, we were found to be able more brucellosis incidence, and we were able to guide or develop control strategies based on these variables which were found significantly associated with the brucellosis at farm level. In this project, we also calculated the health economics, because health economics is a very easy way to communicate with the policymaker. So when we say that this much economic losses is occurring because of this disease, they are more concerned about the disease control programs. And this we develop an evidence-based brucellosis control program for India based upon the research in Punjab. So right from the, if we consider the action plan, we did some studies in the animal population, then human population, then we, these are the incidents, then we calculated the disability adjusted life year losses to the human beings, then the economic losses to the animal husbandry sector were calculated, then the different cost benefit analysis, vaccination policies were adjusted depending upon the different condition, and we were able to get benefit cost ratio varies from 8 to 11. Then we conducted a stakeholder group discussions which comprises of different segments of people, medical sciences, then the farmers, veterinarian, then the para-veterinary staff, as well as the Gidwasu staff. And based upon this program, there were some recommendations were given that there is a need to maintain the vaccine cold chain, which is being dispersed at the farm level. Then there is a need to train vet workforce in vaccination program because the veterinarian usually hesitate to do vaccination. Then encourage vet workforce to use personal protective measures. Then educate farmers about the disease. Then there is a need to implement ID system for animals, because in India or in Punjab, we observe the animals which becomes positive for brucellosis, the farmers sell those animals because there is no ID system for the animals. Then there is also need to strengthen farm biosecurity, because farmers, when they observe abortion, they touch the aborted material without any protective measures, and sometimes they discard this aborted material just outside their farm. Then there is a need to manage stray cattle population, because the brucellosis result into the infertility, and infertile cattle or stray cattle may also have a brucellosis. Then there is also need to investigate the role of other hosts. Then there is a need to develop funding for the DIVA vaccination, and obviously using a One Health approach, we will be able to control brucellosis. And these are some of the activities which we conducted during this One Health approach at Gadwasu, that we educate the students at the school levels. Then we conducted meetings with the farmers at the village level, and during farmer fairs, we delivered expert lecture on zoonotic diseases prevention and control, and even we are providing facilities to the farmers for the brucellosis testing. And by the involvement of the medical sector, which were earlier not much familiar with the brucellosis occurrence in Punjab, and nowadays with the efforts of Gadwasu University, some of the medical hospital, they send a sample for the brucellosis testing. So if they encounter with some cases of pyrexia of unknown origin, then they send those patient samples to the Gadwasu laboratory for the brucellosis investigation. And these are some of the One Health initiatives or strategies which are ongoing at India level, because right now I think we do not have any One Health Commission or One Health Mission at the national level. But recently ICMR and ICR, they have collaborated for the joint research priorities. And Public Health Foundation of India is also playing some role in the designing of roadmap to control zoonotic infection in India. Along with this, there are some solution-based One Health approaches, such as National Influenza Pandemic Committee to control avian influenza and leptospirosis. And there is also a very good example of rabies in the state of Tamil Nadu, which is a state-specific level activity at the One Health front, where the rabies control program was initiated, and all the district and state level data were collected, and all these collaborating disciplines were given equal opportunity to participate in this project. And a recent initiative is initiated by the Department of Biotechnology under the Ministry of Science and Technology to develop One Health roadmap of India in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, as well as the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So here we can see all the ministries, they have showed their political will to develop One Health concept in India. And as you know, the COVID-19 testing is ongoing in many veterinary laboratories in collaboration with the medical counterparts. But I presume we at the national levels, it's like Dr. Madan has also said that there is a need to strengthen the veterinary aspect in the India. So there is a very much need that we do proper epidemiological or cross-sectional studies, and before that we would have to appropriate case definition for any disease. Then how the approach we do for the sample collection, what is the actual sample size which we required to quote a disease, and then the SOPs for the diagnostic tool should be uniform through the centers. Then there is also need to calculate the production losses, product losses, and the infertility or the fecundity reduction, so that we will be able to calculate the economics of the animal disease. Then there is also need to develop data on the morbidity of the disease, death losses of the animals, and as well as the human health impact. So from the veterinary side, we need to do strengthening in all these aspects. And there are many ways forward for our sector. Like we need to do the disease prioritization, which is we can take the help of CDC platform how the disease can be prioritization done in a particular segment of the state or at the national level, so that we can come across that these diseases, they require urgent action. Then there is a need to combine human and animal health impact estimation in the form of economics or health issues. Then there is a need to develop capacity building in veterinary epidemiology, livestock economics, and modeling. And as Dr. Ashok said, there is a need to develop the risk assessment for the zoonotic infection. Then we need to calculate the cost-benefit ratio analysis so that we can attract the policy maker about the zoonotic diseases. Then we need to improve our data collection methods. We need more funding for the disease dynamics, risk factor, and disease burden. And there is a need of inclusion of veterinarians in the One Health national policies. So in summary, I would like to conclude that there is a need to foster the cross-sectoral collaboration at the human-animal environment interface among the different relevant sectors at the national or international fronts. Further, there is also need to develop the capacity and promoting practical, evidence-based and cost-effective tools and mechanisms for zoonosis prevention, surveillance and detection, reporting, epidemiological and laboratory investigations, risk assessment, control, and assisting in their implementation. Okay, so here veterinarians can make a very good contribution. Then supporting the development of relevant policies, strategies, and sustainable programs to prevent and further reduce risk and manage outbreaks by facilitating the implementation of the policies at the national or at the regional level. So that was the last slide. And I would say in the last, thanks to the organizer that they have given me opportunity to present some information on the One Health and some of the contributions which veterinary university is doing to promote the One Health concept in Punjab. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Bedi, for an excellent overview of the how One Health approach can help us in controlling the zoonosis in India, particularly India. You have focused on your personal, by putting your personal examples on brucellosis and that all. It's a wonderful presentation. Amongst the students or the listeners, if there is any query, we can have one or two quick question on this, and then if not, then we will move to next.
Dr. Bedi, you can just stop your sharing of the slides.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Is it okay, sir?
No,
no. You have to stop sharing and just click on the above. On the top, there is a view options, and you have to stop sharing.
Just wait for sir 1 minute. Stop sharing.
Just go to top view. Yeah,
yes,
thanks.
Sir. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I thank Dr. Bedi for a nice talk. Is there any some questions from or the information someone needs to add or has some questions to
Not
ask?
really a question.
Please, sir. Please, sir.
It's not a really question, but it is an interaction with this very good presentation which was made. You see, in the country, we have been talking about this brucellosis over years, and different types of strategies are even thought of. Now, we are saying that managing the stray cattle. Now, what is that management will do? We don't see that we have any horizon for that. We have any way for doing that. Then now the government, under the welfare ministry, farmers welfare ministry, has started saying that we'll number the animals. But those numbering animals is not good enough for going over into that what we talk often as disease like brucellosis. I think what is important in an approach over in this thing is that we must firstly make ourselves very clear that what we are going to do with brucellosis animals, positives, negatives. When we are talking of, we have only two options left with us. That means that we vaccinate them and then we segregate them. Segregate them to where? And that is the real problem before us as far as the brucellosis is concerned. The second thing, which has been talked over and over again, and I think that there was a very good slide here which was presented regarding showing the various affiliations of the One Health program, starting from the roots, the stem and the leaves, and how it has to expand. But to that, my basic reaction is that in our country, that agencies can be made, all agencies, but these agencies work together that's what's very difficult. Primarily because even if, being involved in some of these ICR committees, ICMR and ICR committees, we make a presentation out of it. We make an ruled recommendation out of it. And I had two of these full papers which were recommended to the government of India. But they subsequently did not get over into the system because there are two ways by which there is an interference in there. Number one is that we talk something which is ICR and ICMR talks, and immediately the government says, oh yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good research aspect of it. But now it is the ministry which has to come in. And when it gets into the ministry, that immediately they think of that, well, it is the state which has to implement it. And when it travels from center to the state, that in the state, there is no convergence of any of our programs, especially for health aspects. So my emphasis has been over the past few years, and now I am also emphasizing that it is important that we should talk of convergence at the state level. And the first area in convergence will be education. A veterinarian should be educated, which we were not doing that what is really the role of an as far as the disease health is concerned. Often what we say is that we teach on, when we say that an animal is in health, we say that he is free from disease. But health is something beyond disease. So that is where the emphasis has to be. That is where our education has to be. We have to convert this education from disease-oriented to health orientation. And in that, it cannot be separate for animal and then prepared for human. And I think that this needs to go. And as a matter of fact, that as a result of this group, which is here today, that something concrete like that can be thought of. And we can do it in a way by which we will have implementation possible. And that is where we fail. I think that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your excellent comments on it. Rapporteur has noted it. And maybe as a proceeding of this seminar, we will convey it to ICR and even to the ministry also, that these interventions at this place is very much essential. And really, it's a question what to do with these positive animals. So bit research is going on, like in Mumbai Veterinary College, they are formulating a nanoparticle and delivery system to reduce the cost of treatment of brucellosis in animals. And secondly, some research going at Gadwasu using bacteriophage, very specific to brucellosis for the treatment. So by this way, I think we can at least reduce the shedding of Brucella organism from these animals so that the transfer from these animals to the human beings and other animals can be stopped. This is just start, but anyway.
Yes, very true, very true. Very true. But the point is that that animal has to travel from an owner to an investigation laboratory.
Yes.
And what is happening?
Sir, please unmute your mic.
That's what exactly is the situation.
Yes.
That there are very good work being done in the institutions and all that. But the question is that the disease in itself is there at the owner's level. It's at with the animal level. Now, how does this this infected animal, which is a carrier of it, come from the field over into a system where we can have an approach, the one like which you are saying that we at the Bombay Veterinary College at Ludhiana we have got. If that would have been the straitjacket system, we would have been able to progress, because I think that I have spoken it to my sister institutions also, that we have to bring about a different approach to this problem than going over into the cotton strain 19 system that where we're talking of. The new evolutions, the new finding out that which of the animals that which are not carriers now, we can develop certain, that biochemical tools by which we can see that this animal is definitely not a carrier. And that's how we can slowly eliminate. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir, for your expert comments on this. And definitely we will, report here has noted it and we will communicate it to the appropriate ministry. Thanks, sir. Moving to next, we have a third lecture today from Dr. D.D. Kulkarni. It's an honor for me to introduce my teacher, Dr. D.D. Kulkarni. After serving in the universities for more than 18 years, he moved to ICR, and he was acting director and principal scientist in ICR, National Institute of High Security Animal Diseases, Bhopal, from 2000 till 2018 when he got superannuated. And he is a best teacher, means a wonderful teacher and a very good teacher that in our era that we used to always means eager to listen him and his lectures. And he has immensely contributed in the field of veterinary science and particularly the control of the and diagnosis of the transboundary diseases. He is a member of ICMR National Lab Biosafety Assessment Board for the eradication of poliovirus program. Then he is a member of team for the formulation of National Action Plan for the eradication and containment of avian influenza, Government of India. And twice he has been nominated for this on this National Action Plan. And then his research on rinderplace, blue tongue, PPR, duck plague, Nipah, CCHF, long list, but majority of the transboundary diseases, which includes avian influenza, swine influenza, and other many, that contribution is very valid contribution is from him. About publications, he has many publications, and his H index is 16, and might be it has increased to 17 now. And he has visited many countries, and maybe 7-8 countries he has visited, and then he is a member of Indian delegations on the OIE, FAO, WHO for the zoonosis, biosafety, and animal health. So he has a lot of contribution, and he is a member of various professional societies. He is honored as a fellow of National Academy of Veterinary Science in 2008. And since then also he is contributing a lot. And I would say is the best teacher also. So over to Kulkarni sir, and he will be talking with us on the Nipah virus and in India. And over to Kulkarni sir, please. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Can you listen to me? Okay.
Yes, sir, we can listen to you. Please continue.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Kulkarni. It's a pleasure to be present here among various dignitaries, Dr. Madan sir, Dr. Sharikar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of MAPSU, and I greet all of them, all my seniors, and the august gathering for this particular webinar. I'll not just much time because there is already it is delayed. So I'll start my presentation. Can you see it? Okay.
Sir, you need to share.
Sir, you have to share your slides.
Okay. Okay.
1 minute.
Sir, you have to open the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Go to your desktop and then go to share screen. Select that PowerPoint and then share. It will come.
नहीं ना, मैं उनको फोन किया था.
Okay now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Zoom करा sir, zoom.
Okay.
Slide show.
Slide show मध्ये टाकायचं. Slide show.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So it is the current status of Nipah virus in India, and it has actually caused very limited focal outbreaks. Its biological property of infecting a wide range of hosts and to produce a disease causing significant mortality in humans, and the recognition of their reservoir in nature has made this particular virus a public health concern. And since it is a bat-oriented virus, we need to take much care. I don't go into much of the virology, but it belongs to family Paramyxoviridae and subfamily Paramyxovirinae, whereas the new genus has been carved out from this particular Nipah viruses, taking Hendra and Nipah together. So it is classified at international level, the highest biosafety level, BSL-4 virus, and hence requires the highest level of care in the field of virology inside the laboratory while handling the animals and inside the laboratory. The pteropus bats, particularly, these are the fruit-eating species, which is a larger bat. Unlike the bats which are involved in coronaviruses, that they are the insectivorous bats. This is a fruit-eating bat or frugivorous bats. They are popularly known as flying foxes, are supposed to be the natural host of this virus. They carry several viruses, of course, not only limited to Nipah, but they carry these viruses and they do not get any infection from these viruses. It is simple that they excrete sometimes without exhibiting the clinical signs, and it is intermittent excretion. The things are not very clear when they excrete the virus. Like this is one of the Indian flying fox, Pteropus giganteus, and it is all only in Asian region or even South Asian region. This is very active mostly in evening and at night, and it will fly up to 9 miles or 20 kilometers for foraging or feeding. And it roots primarily in trees in a very large colony. They have got a family concept actually, and they stay in 800 to 1000 birds, the bats together with males and female present throughout the year. This is one picture I have taken from Malda in West Bengal. So many colonies of bats we have visited for the Nipah work. The emergence of Nipah virus in Malaysia is believed to be due to series of complex interplay. I'll devote much more time how it started, because it has got something to do with ecology. It has got something to do with environment. It has got something to do with the selfishness of the human race towards the nature. The forests of Southeast Asia have been substantially reduced due to deforestation for industrial plantation, severe deforestation and industrial plantation around 2 decades, 75 to 95 in Peninsular Malaysia, Sumatra, Indonesia, has severely reduced the habitat of fruit bats. Of Nipah virus. there was a burning of over 12 million acres of forest in Borneo, Sumatra in the fall of 1997, cast an extreme haze in Southeast Asia for months that blocked sunlight, reducing the flowering and fruiting of the trees to flower and bear fruits. This was exacerbated by a drought driven by severe El Nino. So this is the El Nino Southern Oscillation event. So it was also coupled during that time. These events led to an acute reduction in the available trees or the plantation, flowering and fruiting forest trees for foraging by bats. And this caused them to travel great distances in sustenance, and it culminated into unprecedented encroachment of flying foxes into cultivated fruit orchards. At the same time, intensive pig farming practices started in Malaysia, and they said that the pig farm are, if it is not profitable, use this land and they plant fruit trees, and a lot of fruiting was available around these pig farming farms, and those situations lured the bats into unprecedented encroachment into pig farms that had nectar bearing trees. After sucking the juice from the fruit, the Nipah virus carrying bats, they just they spit the pulp, drop half-eaten fruits on the ground, delivering a heavy dose of virus-laden saliva to voracious pigs. The pigs, thus picking up the contaminated fruits, suffered the clinical subclinical Nipah infection, acted as amplifying host, and transmitted the virus to the owners. The pig farmers either sold or transported the infected pigs because they were sick, they were dying, and this transport of the virus, thus they transported the virus also to other pig farms and thus spreading the disease. The actual disease was controlled only after killing 1 million or more pigs from Malaysia. So after that, the Nipah was not recorded in that particular area. Apart from the fruit bats as a natural host, human, swine, cattle, goat, dog, cat, and horses can be infected. Only pigs were primarily infected in initial NIV outbreaks before transmitting the infection to humans. It was later revealed that the other animals such as dogs, cats, and horses could also be infected when they come in contact with infected pigs. Experimentally, cat, golden hamsters, guinea pig, African green monkeys, and squirrel monkeys, etc., can be infected as an experimental stage. The disease is transmitted from bats to other hosts in a specific pattern. The virus shedding from bats through saliva and urine, contaminating the water consumption or the food consumption of contaminated material that results in infection. Transmission of Nipah virus to humans during this period appears to have been bimodal. In Malaysia and Singapore, the contact with pig was associated with infections in humans. Whereas in Bangladesh and India, the fruit bats, particularly Pteropus giganteus and other species, continue to be the only identified primary reservoir, and there is no intermediate host in Bangladesh, India, in contrast with Malaysia, since the infections have probably come directly from bats to human beings. So this is a stark difference between the Malaysian outbreak and the Bangladesh Indian outbreak. The disease transmission in Bangladesh and India is different and without involvement of pigs. In Bangladesh and in some part of West Bengal state, a fresh uncooked date palm sap is consumed by human being as a popular delicacy or is a very popular drink, and it is uncooked raw. About 2 liters of palm sap slowly oozes out from scratched palm tree or the stem in a night, and that is collected in earthen pots tied to the tree below that particular cut. And since these earthen pots containing sap are mostly operated openly, they are easily accessible to fruit bats because it is a sweet sap or sweet drink. The fruit bats also drink from that earthen pot. The sap gets contaminated with their virus-laden saliva and other excretions of bat, and thus it is transmitted to persons drinking the contaminated sap. And this has been noted that in Bangladesh, this is a very common practice to use this particular drink as a sap, dead palm sap, and naturally that has allowed the virus to enter into humans. But incidentally, once it comes to human, it doesn't require any intermediate host. From human to human, it is transmitted. This is one of the very typical picture you can see here. A earthen pot is tied up, then a cut. You can see here all ants because of the sweetened area, and there is a channelization below it. So this is particular a channel through which the sap oozes out, and a typical earthen pot is tied up. Now the farmers know that the bats eat them or drink them. They are covering it with these plants structures itself. So this is a very typical slide, and these are all I was working on Nipah in West Bengal for a long time, so I collected these pictures myself. Nipah RNA or antibodies to NIV have been recorded from most part in India. So bats all over India, right from Haryana to West Bengal and to Kerala, bat populations have been positive for NIV RNA or antibodies, as well as several countries in Southeast Asia. So there is a big list. However, it is not clearly understood when the bats excrete the virus. So typically, sometimes they say that the pregnant bats, they carry the virus and excrete the virus during pregnancy, but sometimes it is also not very sure. So reactor bats in a colony shed the virus continuously. It is not possible that all the bats are excreting the virus. It is only intermittent, and the things are not very clear. Contact with these excretions, secretions, or fomites or handling inanimate objects from infected person results in human-to-human transmission of the disease. One of the biggest transmission route has been detected during our Kerala outbreak, also our Siliguri outbreak also, and this is a nosocomial transmission. So majority of the infections have been transmitted through hospitals. So either it is unknowingly, because initially they do not understand the Nipah, or they do not get detected as a Nipah case, and just as a general encephalitis cases, they are being treated, and by the time they know that it is Nipah, most of the transmission has already been occurred. Other commonly observed possible NIV transmission routes were climbing trees or contact with bats or bat colonies. In many parts, they use these bats for some type of Ayurvedic medicines. The domesticated animals can be infected by contact with those infected pigs, but experimental infections have also been established by intranasal and oral inoculation in many of these species. Experimentally, the high virus titers in the placenta and uterine areas of a NIV infected pregnant cat with virus shedding have been demonstrated, indicating vertical transmission. In utero transmission has also been demonstrated. Transmission in cats in via semen is also possible. So these are all now recorded experimental data. Some farmers reported deaths in dogs during Malaysian outbreak. Two such animals exhibiting a distemper-like symptoms resulted in isolation of a virus from one and the demonstration of virus in both. The serological surveys of dogs in infected areas in Malaysia showed 50% of clinically normal dogs had anti-NIV antibodies. Although the dogs can be infected, the serological status in dogs indicated that in absence of infected pigs, dogs were secondary reservoir of NIV and could not be considered for disease transmission. So there is no positive role for dogs. They might be probably acting as a dead-end host. Only one NIV outbreak in Philippines in 2014 has been shown in horses. Some farmers reported cats to be clinically affected. Also, susceptibility of cats was confirmed by experimental infections. Hamsters and guinea pigs are also susceptible to NIV infections, as evidenced by experimental studies. Now, if we talk of clinical picture in pigs, since Malaysian outbreak, in 2001, it is now 20 years ago, sorry, 1999, 21 years ago, we don't have any active infection in pigs. Nipah virus will infect pigs of all ages. Sows present primarily neurologic syndrome and porkers a respiratory syndrome. So these are two different syndromes being presented in pigs. Affected wieners and porkers show acute febrile illness, respiratory signs ranging from rapid and labored breathing, non-productive coughing. It is very popularly called as 1 mile cough. In severe cases, it could be blood tinged or mucus discharge from the nostrils. Neurological signs include trembling, twitching, muscular tremors, rear leg weakness, varying degree of lameness and paralysis. Piglet's gilt and sows may experience convulsions and neurological signs. Affected sows and boars could be found dead overnight. This is one of the total record of NIV outbreaks in the world. We have the initial outbreaks in Malaysia, which was fruit bat, pig, human, and human to human. So 98, 99, we had only one, say, group of outbreaks at that time. And 99, Singapore is one accidental actually outbreak, which was pigs imported from Malaysia for slaughter purpose. And the slaughterhouse people got infected. Only slaughterhouse people, only one death was there in Singapore out of 11 slaughterhouse persons. Bangladesh presents a totally different history. You will see from 2001, the first outbreak in Bangladesh, every year, Bangladesh faces Nipah outbreaks, and it has been shown that date palm sap drink is responsible for spread of the infection from bats to human beings. But once it comes to human beings, probably it passes on from one human to other human by contact. Simultaneously, in 2001, India had the first outbreak of Siliguri in West Bengal. Incidentally, this outbreak was confirmed almost 2.5 years later. The next outbreak in India was from Nadia district near Krishnanagar, and it was also from bat to human and then human to human. A Nadia outbreak in 2007 was limited to one family, wherein all 5 persons got infected and all of them died. So there was almost 10% mortality in Nadia, but the outbreak was restricted to that one particular village. 2014, Philippines had involvement of horse in Nipah, and it came from bat, horse to human. 2018, in India, we had a very serious outbreak in Kerala state, bat, human to human, and all nosocomial infection was reported in Kerala. 2019 showed only one case actually, and that boy got recovered fortunately. So there was no mortality in last year, 2019 outbreak in Kerala. So this is case fatality. You'll find Malaysia, there were 265 cases, 109 deaths, and case fatality ratio was almost 41%. Singapore, it was a slaughterhouse case, 11 persons got infected, only one died. It is a 9% case fatality. In West Bengal, Siliguri, we had recorded 66 cases, out of which 45 died. The case fatality was very high, 68%. And we don't have actual figures now in Bangladesh because they are not very clearly reported as a national data. But 2001 to 2020, more than 1,000 cases have been recorded, more than 500 people have died. Around case fatality varies from 40% to 70% from place to place. And almost 70% of the Bangladesh districts have this particular infection. And all of them have been attributed to date sap drinks or these delicacy drinks. In 2007, India, we had outbreak in Nadia district, one family. All 5 got infected, all 5 died. The case fatality was 100%. In Philippines, in 2014, there were 17 cases, and 9 cases of 9 persons died out of those 17. The case fatality was around 53%. We have one Kozhikode attack in India again in 2018 in Kerala. 23 cases were reported, 21 died, and only 2 survived, of which 5 were not confirmed because they got infection earlier. And the index case also was not laboratory confirmed case, but it was later confirmed as Nipah only. And in Ernakulam, in India last year, we had 1 case. It was fortunately cured, and there is no case fatality. So this is about the total global situation of Nipah virus. The Kerala outbreak, I just want to highlight because it is a recent one and people should understand what is happening nowadays with the bat involvements with Nipah. During 2 to 29 May 2018, 23 cases were identified, including the index case. It was not lab confirmed. 18 confirmed cases and 5 probable cases. Only the index case was infected in the community. All remaining were due to nosocomial infections. So remember, majority of the cases were nosocomial transmission from hospital in 3 different hospitals in Kozhikode. Clinical features in cases included fever, acute respiratory syndrome, shortness of respiration, altered sensorium, myalgia, headache, vomiting, cough, and seizures, and many become unconscious later on. The case fatality rate was 91%, 21 individuals dying and 2 surviving. The phylogenetic analysis demonstrated that Nipah virus from humans was similar to Bangladesh strain to 96%, but 99.7 to 100% similar from Pteropus species, bats, indicating bats were the source of the infection. This is typically now, because of Corona also, you are able to see all those things. Biosafety and biosecurity hazards, the dead body, the surroundings, the cloths, and all other wastage from that nearby the patient was disposed of in a very scientific manner. The preventive precautions now we should take, as it can be prevented by avoiding exposure to bats as well as sick animals in endemic areas. Avoid drinking of raw date palm sap, partly eaten or damaged fruit. Actually, we were habituated, and we know that whenever the partly eaten fruit is falling down from a tree, it is definitely sweet, and naturally people try to consume that particular fruit. But now it is risky. Every fruit purchased from market also has to be consumed after proper washing. It is an occupational hazard. During medical examination, standard infection control practices and proper barrier nursing techniques should be strictly followed by preventing nosocomial infections. Because most of the infections now have been occurring unknowingly in the initial stage. The doctors or the nurses do not know whether it is Nipah. By the time the laboratory confirms the Nipah case, it is already 2 or 3 days over. And by the time the patient has been handled by several persons. So naturally, one has to be very careful in occupation, particularly for medical profession. Similarly, in disease-prone area, there is a need for adequate public education. That is one of the very important things. Dr. Madan sir was rightly telling us just now that public education, we are missing this particular link. We have a public education now. As a veterinarian, if I remember myself, I was taught some 40 years ago as a basic veterinarian. After that, unless I go for specific training, nobody will tell me what is to be done and what is not to be done. So we need to give complete, continuous public education. This is very apparent now, even in Corona period also, that we have a less of public education and people are not understanding the need of mask or need of not going outside, and why should we do it, and why government is forcing us to do it like that. So it is not the police that should tell us. It is our own intuition, our own protection should indicate that what is the disease risk, and biosafety precautions for animal handlers, butchers. Again, this is one of the area which is very much neglected in most of the developing countries. So other professionals also. The second area for targeted intervention is reduced exposure of caretakers of the patients. So naturally, whenever the patient is brought to the hospital, a series of people come to visit that patient. There is the relatives which are taking care of that patient, giving food, cleaning their clothes, taking those clothes to home again for cleaning and whatnot. So their saliva, urine, everything and other excretions, vomits, their clothes, utensils and other belongings. Naturally, these persons or the cadavers, even after death, the people say handle that cadaver in a very bad manner after the death of the relative. So naturally, so they are all very heavy risk suspected to have died with NIV. When NIV outbreak is recognized, it is appropriate to implement standard precautions both at field and hospital level to prevent its spread. So this is what we need to understand. And as we are talking now on emerging zoonosis, it is growing threat to global threat, cause of huge economic losses in last 30 years. Nearly 2/3 of human infection diseases arise from pathogens shared with animals, underline the need of multi-sectoral collaboration, including clinicians, public health scientists, ecologists, veterinarians, economists, for effective management and prevention of those emerging zoonotic diseases. And this underlying causes seems to be mediated by humans in most cases, like changes in land use, extraction of natural resources, greed in animal production systems, trade and traffic, and so on. So this is all about what I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, please stop sharing the screen.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for giving an overview of the Nipah virus and its affections, not only in India, but to the other areas of the globe where it is more predominant and all. So excellent overview on this, and there are few messages from your lecture. So thank you for that. Is there any queries from any participants or the dignitaries or some additions? Yeah, please, Dr. Wee, you can add. Please unmute yourself. Dr. Wee, you have to unmute yourself.
All right. Thank you very much for this very informative Nipah virus. Actually, I'm a Malaysian, you see. So when Nipah virus started in Malaysia, I went back to Malaysia. Okay, so let me tell you my story.
Yeah.
This is
Surely.
real life story that is not written in any other books, you see. So I'm just sharing with you my own experience.
Yeah.
So when Nipah virus started in Malaysia in 1999, I was associate professor in National Chongqing University, Taiwan.
Yeah.
So the first thing they think it was Japanese encephalitis.
Yeah.
And Dr. Xie, our professor, Happy Xie, went to Malaysia. I went to Malaysia too, you see. But the difference is that he sits on top of the stage. I sit at the bottom of the stage. So I was discussing with other people about this. So it was held in Ipoh, okay, the meeting. And at the meeting, everybody was saying that it was Japanese encephalitis because the vaccine company was trying to sell the JE and Japanese encephalitis to Malaysia, you see, to the big owner. So there were only two persons in the conference who stood out and says that this might not be Japanese encephalitis. One is me, the other one was the Director General of Veterinary Service in Malaysia. So why do we say that it might not be Japanese encephalitis? One, because all the patients, okay, who were sick were, first they were associated with pig, okay, pig farming. And then they were more than 40 over years old. And this, for Japanese encephalitis in human, it's fatal only for young kids, okay? So we don't see any Japanese encephalitis in young kids in the area. Only people who are more than 40 over years old. This is one thing, which is not Japanese encephalitis. The other thing, in the case of Japanese encephalitis, we know that there is the black, I mean, the what you call the aborted fetus that become black, okay, due to this absorption. And then the other thing is that when they inject Japanese JE vaccine to humans in that area, it did not prevent them from getting encephalitis. So many, at that time I went there were more than a dozen people who already had encephalitis. And we do not know what disease it was, okay, at that time, 1995. And then the other thing is that those patients, you see, who, even though they have JE antibodies, Japanese encephalitis bodies, they also died. Okay, so I went there because I was a parasitologist, and then if it's Japanese encephalitis, it's caused by mosquitoes. Okay, so these are my real experience there, because I'm a Malaysian, so it's my country and my fellow people who are dying. So this is Nipah virus. Okay, just something to share with you. I think we are running out of time.
Not only in Malaysia, even in India, when Siliguri outbreak was there, it was identified as the measles variant. So initially it was a measles variant, not Nipah. So after these samples were sent to CDC Atlanta, and then they confirmed it, and then it was revealed that it is Nipah virus. Otherwise, at that time also it was like a paramyxovirus is there, so it is some variant of measles.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So the one more comment that I want to make is not on Nipah virus, it's on the guinea worms. You see, the previous speaker says that guinea worms is being eradicated. Actually, that is what the WHO would like to say, but now they at first they thought the guinea worms can only infect humans. Now they find it in the dogs and dog. So they could not eradicate this guinea worm. Okay. So well, it's just a comment for everybody. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for nice discussion on this topic. I would request my co-chairman, Dr. Maji, if he has some comment on this session, and then maybe we will wind up this session and move to the agenda. Dr. Maji?
Maji madam is there. She's there. She was there.
Yeah.
We can continue, sir.
Okay. So she was there actually.
Yeah.
She is speaking. She is speaking. Unmute her.
Okay.
I thank the Director of Research and Chairman of this session. I also thank Honorable Vice Chancellor and all the dignitaries for having given such a nice presentations, especially Dr. Kulkarni sir, since he has also spoken in Parbhani last time when I was there. That was regarding some other virus, sir. I don't remember right now, but I think it was Nipah only. And also, no, you spoke about Kaizenur forest disease. So sir has worked on so many viruses, and he's always been very upfront in his views. Also, I thank Dr. Kui for his excellent presentation on trichinosis. And and Dr. Bedi for his insight into One Health concept. So with this, I also know that our Director of Research is extremely involved in brucellosis research, and sir would take a step forward in that and help us to get the project. With this, a few words. I thank all of you for having participated in this very nice Zoonoses, World Zoonoses Day. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would request our rapporteur, Dr. Meshram, you please prepare the proceedings of this session and pass it to our co-chairman and me. And after that, we will pass it on to the organizer. Okay. And so I thank all three speakers for their excellent deliberations, and the participants also, especially Madan sir, and for their special comments, which are very helpful for the future formulation of the future strategies. So I thank all the participants and speakers. Now over to organizers, Dr. Jende.
Yes.
You please continue with the show. Thank you. Thanks for giving me a chance to be a chairman for this session and listen to these all dignitaries and the persons, those who are experts in their field. Thanks, organizers. On behalf of this committee also, co-chairman Dr. Maji and rapporteur Dr. Meshram, I thank the organizers for giving us chance to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure. So now we okay. So thank you so much. Now we can move to the last part of the webinar, that is a vote of thanks. All the respected dignitaries, university authorities, participants, the special guests today, Dr. M.L. Madan sir, Dr. Vaishnav sir, and my students and colleagues. I am here to present the vote of thanks to all the people who made this event successful. The first and foremost, I would like to thank for the support and guidance extended by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Colonel Dr. Professor A. Paturkar sir, Dr. A.P. Sumkor sir, Dean and DI, Veterinary and Fishery, Dr. N.V. Kurkure sir, Director of Research, MAPSO, and other university authorities for spending their valuable time today, this morning, and making this a grand success of this webinar. I also wholeheartedly thanks Dr. R.C. Agarwal sir, because of his urgent meeting with the DG ICR, he could not make it for today's function, but he has sent the blessings for today's function. Dr. A.T. Sherikar sir, founder, vice chancellor, and my mentor guide. Dr. M.L. Madan sir, ex-vice chancellor and ex-DDG ICR New Delhi. Dr. A.C. Vaishnav sir, ex-vice chancellor Mathura Veterinary University. Dr. Ashok Kumar sir, ADG ICR. Dr. Prabhat Kumar, national coordinator, NHP CAST. Dr. BP Mishra sir, joint director, IVRI Izzat Nagar, and project coordinator of our OPZD project. So all these dignitaries, besides their busy schedule, they have graced this function by being with us this morning. You all are always source of inspiration for us. A big thanks to all of these dignitaries. I am thankful to Dr. N.V. Kurkure sir, Director of Research, MAPSO, and Chairman of today's function. Dr. Mrs. Maji, Professor, Department Microbiology, and the co-chairperson of the session. Dr. Meshram, rapporteur, for conducting the session smoothly and helping and arranging the event successfully. Thank you very much, sir. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for all the speakers and express our sincere thanks to each one of them for giving an excellent coverage to their explanation of topics of various zoonotic aspects in India and abroad. A special thanks to Dr. Hong Kin Oi, Professor, Laboratory of Parasitology, Asabu University, Japan, for accepting our short notice invitation and sharing his experience in the field of diagnosis of various parasitic zoonotic diseases in animals. Since the last 3 to 4 years, he is also in contact with our university for collaborating faculties hands-on training for the diagnosis of parasitic zoonotic diseases. Already our 4 to 5 faculty members, they have visited his lab and undergone the trainings for the parasitic zoonotic diseases. Thank you very much, sir. I am also thankful to Dr. J.S. Bedi, Associate Professor, and due to the urgent meeting of Dr. J.P.'s deal with the Cabinet Secretary and his Honorable Vice Chancellor, he within short notice, 11th hour notice, he is ready to deliver a talk on his behalf, and immediately accepted our invitation without any hesitations, and he has explained very nicely the One Health approach for the zoonotic control of the zoonotic disease. Thank you so much, Dr. Bedi. Also, I would like to thank Dr. D.D. Kulkarni sir, his ex-director Nishant Bhopal, as he has done extensive work. So whatever the work he has explained in his talk, so that is what he has done actually, the work in the northeast area, the transboundary diseases, Nipah and other diseases, and he has presented very nicely and sharing his rich experience of Nipah virus with all of us. My special thanks to our beloved Associate Dean, Dr. A.S. Ranade sir, for his kind help, encouragement for organizing this program and making grand success. I'm sure the students and the faculties of the MAPSU must have enriched their knowledge about these topics delivered. We are also inspired by your great words. Thank you all. I place on record the help and the cooperation received from all my research team of the NHP CAST MAPSU and also the OPJD team for the grand success of this event. And lastly, to all my participants, my students, friends, and attending this function. So now, our Honorable Vice Chancellor would like to share and want to talk with all the participants and the dignitaries. I request Patrukar sir, please speak some few words. Thank you. Patrukar sir. Hello, sir. Sir, unmute yourselves.
Okay, thank you everybody. Dr. Oi, thank you. Dr. Kulkarni sir, thank you. Mishra Sahib gelit ka? Mishra Sahib nigale bhai?
No, he is still there. Dr. Mishra sir is there. Dr. Madan sir is there.
Sir, thank you very much, Dr. Madan sir. Dr. Mishra ji, thank you. आवाज नहीं जाता मला वाटते.
नहीं बहुत.
Best of luck to you and to the team and to the university. And you did a good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Chala,
okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I officially declare this function is over. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Where has Mishra gone? Mishra ji kahan hai?
Sir.
Where are you, Mishra?
Sir, he is. I think he's muted.
Mishra has left or what? Is he around?
Sir, let me see. Let me see. BP Mishra. Aita. Let him BP Mishra. No, sir. I think he has left. Yes, left.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for attending and sparing your valuable time and your guidance
Yes, yes.
throughout the webinar.
Yeah, it
And
was good.
I hope and I wish you are healthy life. And because looking at you, sir, we feel very young.
Sure, you are.
So after
You
a
are,
long
you are.
time, we are seeing you, sir.
Sir, it's a big source of inspiration.
Yes.
Just to have a look at you, your face, your smiling face, your vocabulary. I mean, I have no words to describe.
Oh,
Really
come on.
amazed.
Come on, Dr.
And-
Zidde, you have always
no,
been,
no.
you have been always been
But
very
right-
kind, very kind.
Yeah, but I'm your big fan right from day one since I met you. And whenever I get an opportunity to listen to you, I don't miss that chance. Thank you so much, sir. And good to see you are keeping good health, basically.
Yeah, God's grace.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was very happy to see one young staff member, English.
Yeah, Dr. Ingol is also there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Ngola is there, but
Yes,
there
sir.
is one lady, English.
Social English. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she is good. I had not met her earlier, and she has done a good job. She was
Yes, sir,
making
yes.
good presentations.
Thank
And
you.
Yeah, she is from
we should encourage the
microbiology.
young people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all the best.
Okay,
and thank you.
bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy.
Yes, sir.
Namaskar.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.